Oh, we're all gone. What happened?
Oh, that's okay. Oh, there you are.
Almost.
Oh,
Hang on. Hang on. There we go. I don't know how that happened. We were just good a second ago. We'll see what happens when our guest comes in. But what's up, everybody? Thank you for dealing with our shenanigans.
I always wonder what the people that just listen to audio think when they hear these moments.
That's why you got to watch on YouTube and subscribe while you're at it.
You know, I'm just going to jump right into it. Episode 113. Please, if you don't follow us already on all of our social media platforms, please do. Go to our Facebook, give us a like. Go to our YouTube, give us hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Please leave a comment. The interactions help. Share it if you like any segments that you see. We have in iTunes. You can give us a 5-star rating and a review if you like. That helps bump our thing up in the algorithm and boost us up there. And we also have a Patreon. So if you would like to be a Patreon, you can be a Patreon for $3 a month. We offer exclusive content. We have Inside Outs, which are trick tips. We have 3 pieces. We have section reviews with some of our guests. And, we got some other things coming out as well. We got, what else do we have in there, Austin? We have a few things. Well, I can't think of it right now. I'm spieled out. But
the commentaries, the section commentaries?
Section commentary. Yeah, I think I said that. But okay, cool. Check it out. That's what you can do if you want to support us. Also, we're coming to the end of 2021. As you know, Blank has been an incredible sponsor. We've had other sponsors in the past, Intuition Skate Shop. If you want to be a sponsor for 2022, please hit us up, jumpstreetpodcast@gmail.com, and you could be a sponsor for 2022, which could be fun, right?
We've been having a lot of fun with Blank, and we're always open to sponsorships. If anyone wants to support us in that way or promote their product or whatever it is, video, website, brand of any kind, just let us know. Hit us up.
Nice. And we have some Patreons this month, right?
We have a ton of Patreon supporters. We're going to split this up because you guys are going to kill me with these names. So we're taking it one step at a time. This week, we want to give a shout out to our new Patreon supporters. The homie Brazil. We got Danny Keyblade, Sean Maristella, Nick Lyon, Joe Ansborough, Brian Sparks, David Lineback, Eliza Jeanette, Ben Duran, Frieder Jan Mormon, Craig Spavin, Shane Smith, Gordon McFarland, and Liam Graham. Thank you all so much for your support. That's just a small part. Thank you, everybody. We've had like a huge influx of supporters over the last couple weeks. So we're going to get to the rest in the next episode. But thank you all so much. We've been having a lot of good feedback on our last few Patreon posts. So everybody check it out. If you're not already a supporter, consider being a supporter. Check out patreon.com/jumpstreetpodcast. And
we have some new ones. The Inside Outs, you did how to hit coping, for people who are just starting to skate or just learning to skate coping. And there's one before that, a bit controversial, but the zero fish or the ollie fish going fakie, zero ollie fish.
What's up with that? I was just as blown away by that as you were.
No, but I think it's zero. We don't need to get into it, but I think it's a zero fish makes sense. That covers what it is. But
I think they both make sense, but I just didn't know that there was any controversy around it. I've been saying that. Yeah. I've been saying it like that for 25 years. I'm sure you have too. I've never gotten any shit for it myself. So that was the first time I seen that, but we apologize.
Regardless of the name, there was some good feedback on both of those how-tos, the Inside Out. So check those out if you're a Patreon supporter.
Yep. And speaking of supporting, let's give a shout out to our sponsor for this episode. Blank, who just came out with the new Sean Keen Pro Model skate. Brand new skate from the ground up, pretty much. A lot of people have their hands in it already. So for the pre-orders, it came in. There's a lot of reviews and stuff out there. Here's your boy Sean Keen himself talking about his own pro skate by Blank. Check it out.
Hey, what's up? This is Sean Keen out here in New York right now with the Blank Rollerblade team. We're all out here skating my pro skate for the first time in the public. Yeah, we've been developing the skate for about 2 years right now. Worked with Kyle Solo on a lot of the parts on this skate. Came together really nice. Hope everybody likes it. It's going to be the first release. It's going to be a beta drop. It'll be a couple sizes, but the whole point of it is we want the public to test these out too. They're going to be able to try it, give us feedback, and we're going to make changes to the skate for the next final production run of all the sizes. So it'll be something everybody's happy with. I hope everybody's really stoked on the skate, because I know I am. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoys this new skate. So be sure to cop a pair and try them out. Let us know your feedback.
That's Blank by Rollerblade. Check out the new Sean Keen, Pro Model Skate. Give them a follow on Instagram at Blank Rolling Products. And we have a link to their website in the video description, so definitely check that out. Thank you so much, Blank. We also have a WTF this week coming from Danilo Senna with this judo chop, just a flat spin to alley-oop sole. Totally laced it. Perfect. I don't think I've ever seen. We've seen a lot of spins to grinds. I don't know if we've ever seen any flat spins to grinds, but flat spin to alley-oop sole, definitely up there. So huge shout out to Danilo Senna. What do you think about it, Billy? Oh, we lost Billy. Okay, so it's just me. Big shout out Danilo Senna. Thank you for killing it and everything. Give him a follow. Danilo Senna on Danilo Senna inline on Instagram. Billy's coming back. Maybe. Hang on. What an episode we're having so far.
Hey. Hey, what an episode. But I got disconnected there. But that flat spin alley-oop sole was nuts.
All good. We're still here. We still have a bunch of other things to get to on the top of this show. We have to do the monthly supporter giveaway, all this Patreon talk, monthly supporter giveaway for the month of November. So like we say, every month we do a random drawing from our Patreon supporters. Let me pull up the screen here. Bam. So we put everybody who supports us on Patreon in a random drawing, and they receive one of whatever they want out of our online store. So the month of November, we have Cody Hayes. So congrats to Cody Hayes for winning our monthly supporter giveaway. And thank you so much for supporting our show. We definitely appreciate it. And bang bong. There we back. And
Bing bong.
bang bong. It's I have a new computer now, so I just set everything up again. And there's like new notifications popping up that I'm unaware of. So bear with me on that. Hopefully everything goes as smooth as possible, even though we've been having a bit of a shit show so far. But we're making it happen. This is just typical Jump Street stuff. Anybody who's seen our show before, you know what it is.
Yeah, we're back in there.
Shout out
what
Cody
else do
Hayes.
We have? How many things do we have before the
we have at least
special guest?
we have at least a dozen more things because we have over 100 people already watching live. Anybody who watching live, thank you so much. This is a huge turnout.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly. I didn't discuss this with you, Billy, but I hope you don't mind this. I was posting a little picture on my Instagram every time I went skating. I would put like a piece of paper up that said "Gone Skating" on it, and everyone's like, "Make a shirt out of that. Make a shirt out of that." I would buy a shirt. So I did it. I made shirts, Gone Skating shirts in adult and kid sizes. Good for the whole family. Very family-friendly shirt. It was just like a joke thing that I had going around, but everybody wanted some shirts for it. So they're selling pretty well too. So everyone check them out. I have a link in the description, Gone Skating Big Cartel. And yeah, if you want to support me or whatever, just want a cool, funky little shirt for you or your little one, check it out. I appreciate that. Sorry, but I didn't run that one by you, but I forgot I had that in here.
It's all good.
Is there anything else that you could think of? Because I think that's everything off my list.
No, I think that's everything because that's a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff. We got
I want to get to our guest.
Yeah, we have someone else to do the talking for us. So I hope I have the sound bite because, like I said, this is a new computer. So I hope the sound works. But everybody, please give a round of applause for our very special guest from north of the border, Mr. Joey McGarry. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Here we go. There's the cheers.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Billy.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
How's it going?
Good. I want to start off by a shout out for having two Joeys on.
Back-to-back Joeys.
Shout out to the name Joey.
I'm glad you noticed that. Real recognized.
And to all
real.
other Joeys, Joes, and Josephs in rollerblading.
Much love.
Just represent.
Much love.
Shout out to all the Joeys out there.
Thanks for having me, and I'm not going to judge the technical difficulties.
It's tough.
All.
It's tough going live. It's very stressful. It's tough. It's not easy.
Risk.
That's why not many people do it, but we thug it out and try to make it happen week after week, episode after episode. Here we are, 113 in, back-to-back Joeys.
Definitely. Yeah, and thank you for keeping this going, because there's a lot of people who start things like this and they don't keep it going. That's very important to keep it going. Keep doing it. Imagine rollerblading without Jump Street. Maybe it wouldn't be as good.
I mean, imagine rollerblading without mushroom blading. Like you've You were the first blading podcast.
No, it was actually Rolling Revival. We were the second.
Oh, Rolling Revival. I completely forgot about that. Tim Parker's deal.
Yeah. Tim and Adrian.
Well, we wanted to talk about that anyway, but now we're on the topic. Was that like your inspiration to starting mushroom blading? Because podcasts were like very rare back then.
The podcast was, I think Todd just wanted to talk to people more. So he just sent me himself recording himself to start. And then it went from there. So it was a solo podcast. Then I did a solo podcast. And then we had guests, and then it became a bigger thing. It was crazy to be able to talk to people that we grew up with watching skating. And I love podcasts because I can stay connected to rollerblading while at work. Because I don't talk to coworkers or my wife about rollerblading too much. So
that's true. There's a whole community out here. People, chat. And I love that about just anybody who does like live streams now as well, because you have like the chat. I noticed that obviously significantly when we did our movie nights last year during the pandemic. But even like when Lawrence does his blade geared chats on his page, back to blading, like I see everyone in the chat like talking about where they're from and stuff, and it's a good way to connect. And I guess podcasts are a good way for that also.
You get to hear the history of the sport from a different perspective too. It's been insane learning some of the business stuff. And it's good for people to learn that because it's a more realistic history of the sport. We grew up watching some of these people, and then you find out how much people were actually getting or how they worked with certain companies, which is important because then we can apply those lessons to what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. Billy.
Hey.
Good job on Mesmer. Good job on Mesmer.
I thought he was making sure Billy was awake.
I'm right here.
I know he said it. He said it like that, like Billy. Like, say something.
Well, because I only saw myself on one screen. Gotta say, good job on Mesmer.
Thank you.
If there, let's say in 10 years, maybe there's only 5 skate companies, there's a good chance Mesmer will be one of them.
Ooh.
Oh,
but I don't
nice.
want to get.
I like that.
I don't want to get too dark on it. And I have one thing I wanted to tell you that I hope was in your contract. If you're open to it.
Okay.
Did you say that Power Slide is not allowed to release a weird version of the Mesmer skate with like a big wheel frame with a weird name on it?
Oh, it's not that they're not allowed. It's just it's a Mesmer mold now. So
yeah. Is that something you don't want to see, Joey?
I want Mesmer to be Mesmer. I want it to be separate.
Core for the people?
It's completely very, very separate.
You can tell from the image too and everything. By the way, Joey, I forgot to ask you this before. I put mushroom blading as your Instagram handle. Did you want that or your personal Instagram page?
Oh, that's good. No, that's good.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Just want to make sure that you're represented correctly on our platform.
Thank you.
Well, Joey, thank you so much for the kind compliment, and thank you for coming on our show. It's a pleasure to have you. We have 129 people watching live, so thank you for joining us. If you are watching, please hit the like button. But Joey, and now that I'm done kind of whoring myself out there with the Jump Street, I kind of want to get into your story. We heard a lot about, I think, your whole backstory and everything through Todd indirectly, but I would love to hear it directly because even like through Todd, it sounds like you were maybe skating first and curious like how it all started, this huge passion that turned into everything that you've produced.
Well, I started as a hockey player in Kamloops on skates at a really young age. And there was a point where I was driving with my mom down the street and I saw in a basketball court, there was a dude who looked straight out of California with like the neon gear, sunglasses, and he was hitting a ball against the wall. And I was like, what are those things? I must have been 9 or 10. And my mom said, those are rollerblades. We can maybe rent those next time we go to Shuswap Lake, which is a lake 45 minutes outside of Kamloops. So
I'm sorry, what was that?
I loved
Shuswap?
I loved hockey. What's that?
Shuswap?
Shuswap Lake.
Shuswap. Okay. Make sure I got that right.
Indigenous term.
Gotcha.
And I loved hockey, but what I really liked about hockey was getting there before everybody and just having the ice to myself. The game was fun, the camaraderie was fun, but when I went out to Shuswap Lake and we rented the rollerblades, it was the idea of being able to skate anywhere on pavement with no team, no rink, no ice. I took to it immediately before I even knew that there were tricks or anything. And then I think I got a pair of Ultra wheels, like teal Bowers or Ultra wheels, and then roller hockey skates. And then it was the classic moment. It would have been skating for a couple years, starting to play rep hockey, which is the more serious AAA. I went in to play it against sports, and there was this guy working named Chad Watson. I would have been in grade 7, so I think that's 12, like skating for a few years. And he played me this video on the Play It Again Sports TV, and it was Dave Kolash doing a 394-foot rail slide in Mad Beef.
Oh yeah.
And he was just like, check this out. And I think I was with my friend Colin, who I first started skating with, but it was that, and then he showed us the wall that had Kryptonics wheels and grind plates, and it was like, that's like the moment in the movie where it's like, this thing is way better and way more exciting than hockey. And I got Kryptonics wheels for my hockey skates, Sonic grind plates, because I thought you needed those to grind, which you kind of did, but not really. And then you could rent videos from Play It Again Sports. So I saw Mad Beef, The Bottom Line. They eventually got VG3 and 4 later. And just that whole world was opened up. And that's the short. Like I was still playing roller hockey and playing hockey, but right around grade 9 or 10, skating became way more important than hockey. And I quit hockey in the middle of the season because it wasn't because I wanted to keep skating and making videos, but it was definitely part of it. Hockey was getting more serious with scouts, and it was getting weird, and the world of skating was more exciting. And something that was particularly exciting about seeing Mad Beef and bringing it home was I was already messing around with video cameras. I was already really into music. I would sit watching music videos with my sister all the time, and it was like seeing a skate video, this world of music, video cameras, freedom of movement, creativity. It was the best. It was like getting a mixtape of music too, every new video. So that's kind of the short version of the story.
That's a pretty good short version of the story. Mad Beef being a good one, you know, seeing that front side, I could see that having a huge impact. I think every skater had like an impact moment, or like you say, like, this is it, kind of who I am moment. It's interesting to hear that you were like that serious into hockey. I know every Canadian has some level of playing hockey, at least like having blades or ice skates on their feet at some level. But scouts, you had scouts out there. You were like serious. What was the level that you were at there?
I still got letters to training camps a year after quitting. But I have a clear memory of like the word got out that I was going to quit in the middle of the season. I remember this scout from
word got out was all the gossip.
What's that?
It was all the gossip. Word got out.
I remember this guy talking to me who was completely out of shape, like this bigger representative from a WHL hockey team. And he's like, you have a good career ahead of you, like the basic movie type thing. And he was like, all you need to do is bulk up a little bit. I was a defenseman. I was a puck moving defenseman, which is a key cog in the team. And I just remember thinking like, you're not in shape at all. And you're telling me that I need to bulk up. And I was like this 16-year-old kid. The whole thing, like even the team dynamics that year got really weird. Like there would be like a news story on the best kid on the team. All the parents got weirder. I definitely appreciate all the driving that my parents did and everything. And I knew that they thought maybe that rollerblading was just going to be a fad, and here I am. I'm almost 40, and I'm still doing it. And I think it was the first thing I remember as a younger person, like something that I felt strongly in my heart that I didn't want to play hockey anymore. Todd had the same thing with baseball. Like he could have gone pretty far with baseball, and we both were really into this weird activity. It had the draw.
I was gonna ask if like what your parents thought about that, because you were considering you were that good at hockey and that you wanted to do this pretty new sport that no one really knew about, especially like our parents didn't really know about it, if anything, right? And to see that you were gonna quit hockey, leave all that behind, and start quote aggressive skating, which it was probably called at that time. You know, it's like your parents, were they supportive of you? But did they give you a hard time with that?
I think it'd be hard now that I'm a parent. I know if my kid went through something like, you almost wouldn't believe them, or you'd be like, we've gone this far with this thing. But I guess it was the first time I maybe brought something up that serious that I didn't want to do it anymore. I remember sitting on the bench, like waiting for the time to count down. That's when you know you're just not into something anymore. And like the things that I enjoyed about hockey were gone, and were actually, all those things were more exciting in skating. The friendships, the fun, the possibilities, like you felt that in the early days of hockey, and then it was just gone. I think they didn't believe me at first, and I think Todd's parents didn't let him at first, possibly. And I remember I had to tell the team, like all the guys sitting down in the dressing room, the coaches made me tell the team that I'm quitting. That was a really bizarre thing to have to do. There was even, I saw a guy at a wedding years ago. I hadn't seen him in such a long time. He's like, I heard you quit hockey for sled dogs. You know those like snow skates?
Yeah.
That somebody had thought that which I did use, and they were horrible, and I still have nightmares about them. But some people thought that I was going to become a pro sled dogger.
Was that just like the stereotype Canadian thing? Like that's what they expect you to do when you're not doing hockey?
No, like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like
I know.
I like how you show the size. You're like, sled dogs.
Yeah.
They're like, they were tiny. I sold them last year. Somebody in Toronto actually bought them.
The same ones?
I think they came back. They're horrible. Definitely don't use them.
I've heard so many stories, but I never used any myself. But I've heard even like a lot of New Yorkers use sled dogs, or maybe just, I don't know, it was like a thing going around. It was like the soap shoes back then, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Very fatty. And that's funny that you had them all these years and you just sold them last year. How much did you sell them for? Did you get a good amount for them?
Not too bad. I was more happy to just not have to look at them in the garage anymore, because they brought up a lot of bad memories of people being on skis and snowboards and me being stuck like if a hill didn't go down far enough. They were slow as hell. They got stuck in powder. But I'm a dork and I love trying all kinds of products. So I would say sled dogs are probably one of the worst in my history of trying things. Snowblades were better. Skis are basically giant snowblades now, so you don't need to have sled dogs or snowblades. I digress, though.
Where's the mushroom blading Patreon video on your sled dog review?
You know what? I should have used them once more before, but
back.
there's a snowblading video on our YouTube page, with some good stuff.
Okay, be sure to check that out, everybody, for that top snowblading content, because there's not much of that in this industry.
So okay, basically your folks, you and Todd's folks, didn't really approve, or Todd's definitely didn't, from you guys leaving your sports. Probably got a hard time from some of your friends. But what was like the goal? Were you guys like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna be pro? And what was like the idea of being pro back then? Like, was it a career? Was it like being on MTV? What was the plan?
I don't even know. Like, I've thought about this a lot. In retrospect, I think we were able to find something of ourselves in skating that we weren't able to find anywhere else in life. And there was competitions. So there was the Canadian Aggressive Tour, which was like the ASA qualifier. And we did those. So I think our parents were at least able to grab onto that. Parents love competitions, trophies, newspaper articles. There was a little bit of that stuff. But it was making videos and competing, I guess, were the two things, which lasted until around 2000. So I guess it would be competitions and videos, but not anything about going pro, or because in Canada there was nobody really to aspire to on the West Coast. Like if it was all the amazing skaters on the East Coast from Taj Mahal, and all the companies were down that way too. So there was no Vancouver skater to aspire to their career or anything. It was just being huge groms, making videos and competing, just being obsessed, which is still the same feeling today for the most part without the competition part.
Yeah, you were at, I think I heard you say one time that you were at that, it was an ASA or something like that, where at the end of Fast Shoes, I think, when they're smashing the car, and like Randy Spizer's like throwing dirt at the car, and were you there for that event or that actual partake in smashing the car? Yep.
Todd and I, my parents took Todd and I to see, that was the first time seeing pro skaters live. Legendary. Was
it ASA?
It was ASA. Okay. We got to see this Julio do the sidewalk before we had seen it in any videos. Wow. We saw Ryan Jacklone. Although him and Dave Ortega missed their runs because they were eating hot dogs, apparently. Brian Smith sat in front of us with his wife, and it was a big deal because his back touched our knees. He like leaned back, and we were the groms in the stands. Like, whoa! And we watched him. There's a fall in Fast Shoes that's incredible of Brian Smith, because I think he was trying oxygens and maybe was going to get a contract. We watched him like put them on in the stands and like walk down the stands, do a couple unity stalls on like this little wooden thing. And then he goes to hit the fly box, and because of the way the heel raise or the skate felt or whatever, it's this fall in Fast Shoes where he does this like double pump thing to a forward roll and then puts his arms out. We got to see that.
What?
Yeah, and I think that was his first hit in the oxygens. Hitting a fly box in brand new skates that you're not sure about is not a good idea. We didn't see the car getting smashed. What's that?
That was a huge fly box.
Oh, it was, even for my parents to see these guys hit a fly box, like it was a thing to be able to 3 and 5 a fly box casually, and it was incredible to see it in person. Mm-hmm. So we had never skated anything like that.
What were you about to say though about I don't know, you were about to say something and then we started talking about fly boxes. Your parents.
Did I say that we didn't see the car getting smashed?
Oh, yeah, the cars, yeah. Oh, you didn't see that.
Dave Jarvis, he's got that Disaster Far Side Soul in the Rose's Vert skates. I can't remember the name. We saw so much incredible skating, and that was like on top of the Mad Beef moment. That was like another one that kind of, there's those moments that solidify your love for skating, and that was definitely one of them. We saw Spicer, Edwards. We saw pretty much all of the big names in person. We also got to see some Canadians there, which was cool.
To be able to see all those people in your face, like especially at that time when these people were like also on MTV and like these other things and are crossed over. I don't know. That's a huge time, especially like that scene that you were at, because I remember seeing a lot of those tricks in the videos, like what you were talking about, Julio's sidewalk and a lot of the tricks from that time, and like Ryan doing like the Misty. And even though like I was like a little removed from that by like a year or so, like just looking at that from the time I was in skating, it seemed like so far back and so legendary. So it was just such an important time there for skating. So it's cool that you were able to catch that and be a part of that. I could see that having a huge impact.
Oh, Jack Lone's Misty Flip. It's in Fast Shoes. One of his nicer, he did a lot of nice ones, but the one in Fast Shoes is extra dope. And I saw it in person, and it's still burned into my mind. Like it's a thing that'll pop up for no reason sometimes.
You know, it's awesome. We had, when we started Jump Street, we were like, yo, this is a cool platform. Like, we're friends with a lot of pros. It'd be cool to hear a lot of stories that pros have from back in the day that you might not have heard of, like IMY, like John Julio talking about the IMYTA and stuff like that. But I never considered the Grom aspect of it, like how you were a kid in the stands at this ASA, like the opposite end of the spectrum. And I kind of like that story more than all the pro stories, honestly. It's more relatable, I guess. Maybe that's why, because that's how we were too, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of continued that whole way for our whole experience of skating. I think Todd pointed out that we weren't really ever involved in the industry in any way. We made videos and stuff, but we had this far removed thing in Canada, which kept the joy and fun of skating quite close and just remained Groms pretty much the whole time. It's only weirder now that, like you see people commenting on Instagram, or you talk to certain people that you grew up watching, and how it's all connected is bizarre. But I do still just feel like that I have a part of me that's just that kid in the stands enjoying stuff, but now it's through my phone or on the computer. And it's also important, seeing skating live, I think, is probably still a really important thing for kids, when I think of how much of an impact that had on me.
As far as like on a professional level, or just in general, you mean?
Just like people seeing people who are really good at skating in person, that if there's events and things where people are walking by, because it was at the PNE, so there was lots of people just walking through that would have stumbled across skating. There was a lot of that stuff in the late 90s, I guess.
Mm-hmm. More pedestrian friendly, I guess you could say. Where
like all the NIS seemed like it was or there was a lot of stuff at fairs and things like that. All of our Canadian or amateur comps were always at like a fair or something. Although we had the ones in 98 or 99, I think, were in Walmart parking lots. So there wasn't a lot of spectators for those ones.
I thought that'd be huge. I feel like everyone goes to Walmart. Yeah, like one of the biggest crowds.
This is the pre-Walmart day. Well, it wasn't the Walmart that we know of now.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about Walmart, but
Neither do I.
Okay. But that's like.
No, but I remember we had like demos in New York too. Like they would like take like a city block or in front of like some skate shop, and like people would come by. I remember Chris Edwards came by to one, and I agree. It's so important to like have people see like the people who you see in videos, or the people who are at least like skating to a professional level or on that platform, just because it's exciting. I remember being super, like, I can imagine how exciting that must have been for you and Todd. And I remember there was like, I think it was an X Games that came, or it was an ASA that came through to New York in like the 98 or 99 or something like that. And just seeing like Randy flying around doing like flat spins, like flat spin 360s on like a launch box. And me just thinking like that kind of stuff was impossible. And like, you know, Josh Petty and all those guys, that stuff is, has a huge impact, especially when you're young coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The fly box especially. Rollerblading is a great air sport, and I think we don't do enough of it. Because there's not a lot of fly boxes to hit, but people who hit fly boxes confidently, so sick. Looks incredible on rollerblades.
I kind of had I was gonna say I had a kind of similar conversation with John slightly the other week at Blading Cup about that too, and I feel like Billy, you might say something similar to what John said, because I know you two are very similar. What were you gonna say?
No, you go ahead. I was gonna go in a different direction.
Oh, okay, no, I was just gonna say that I do agree with you, Joey, that I think as far as a spectator standpoint, they can appreciate the airs and stuff more, and I kind of like went in and out of phases with that too. I personally like even skating fly boxes myself. I'm not the best at it, but I love just like boosting big airs and stuff. It's just fun to do. But I think there's more of like a quote wow factor, I think, for more people to see somebody like Damon Franklin doing like huge 360s and backflips and stuff out of the Venice Beach skate park. And even for myself, when I personally saw vert skating properly for the first time, I think it was the LG games in Dallas. Billy, you were there for that one. It was after one of the hoedowns, but that was the first time I properly, I think, seen vert skating in person. And that was, as somebody who was skating for like 15 years at that point, that was completely mind blowing to me, watching the Asutokos in person do 15-foot airs and Viking flips or whatever California rolls like. That is completely, still to this day, doesn't make sense to me, but it's something that everybody should see in person. That stuff completely just makes you, it puts skating at another level for somebody, especially after doing it for decades.
No, yeah, I agree completely. I think that the air aspect is so, especially for like crowds and like people looking in, just like to take advantage of that. There's so many different areas you can go in skating, which is kind of what I was gonna get into with Joey. But yeah, it's that the air aspect is super is like just incredible. Like look at one of our first guys, the airman, and so many different air things like you were saying, the Yasutokos and everything from air to air, like front flipping over cars to like huge gaps of like Chris Haffey and all these things. So I think the air aspect and like Eric Perquette kind of things, it's a different kind of air, but these air aspects or different grabs, way you spin the body. But I want to get into Joey a little bit about your philosophy, because you were just saying, I don't think we take advantage of the air aspect. And it gets me to like, I think a lot of your skating ethos is shown through your skating and everything you've like contributed throughout the years. And it's interesting. Like, I wonder if there was like a fork in the road where you're like, I'm just going to start experimenting things, or if it was always that way. Was there like a point where you're like, I'm just going to start trying different, yeah, and a bit of your philosophy on skating. I know it's a bit of a big question, but
I have a weird origin story thing that came up. My dad would be able to pinpoint when this was. Maybe grade 1 or grade 2. Like I was really young and I was a shy kid, introverted kid. For some reason, in front of the entire school, I did a Michael Jackson airband to Bad. And I did a bunch of, I just remember this barely because I was so young, but I was doing a bunch of spinning around because that's what Michael Jackson did, I guess. And I went up on my toes a bunch. And it was so weird to think of that I do those two things on my skates, that the first seed was planted somehow seeing Michael Jackson dance way back. So that's the very
no
earliest.
way.
This is one of the best stories I ever heard, by the way.
But I didn't put that together for the longest time, that I loved that Michael Jackson went up on his toes. And one of my favorite things to do on big wheels is like that toe slide trick. So yeah. I have no idea if these things are planted into us when we're born, but
Probably.
A big thing.
That's cool that that's one of your inspirations, because that's I'm sorry, don't mean to. That's cool that that's one of your inspirations for that. I'm sorry, Joey. It's like really weird.
Michael Jackson being an inspiration to skaters. I haven't heard that one yet, I don't think, but I'm very happy I heard that, especially coming from somebody like you.
But it's not, I only just recently realized that memory has something to do with skating later on. And like I said earlier, it was the feel, the speed of skating hockey, just the feel of being at the rink when nobody was there, just skating around was amazing. So when I discovered aggressive, I was definitely into it and into all the grind aspects and everything. But there was definitely a point kind of in the mid 2000s where, and I would do maybe a joke trick once in a while, or like a cess slide or a swivelly thing. But it was kind of the mid 2000s when, I've said this before, that there was not there. I was, as a fan of skating, there was some good stuff, but there was not a lot to grab onto. And that may have been the era. It got a little weird where like every picture in the magazine was jump on, slide down. And some of the attitudes, and it was like, look at how sick we are. Or we always made the joke, look at how heterosexual rollerblading is. That it went so over the top that I wanted to go more in the weird direction. There also could have been, a little bit of BC cannabis, discovering that helped loosen up the mind a little bit. And the joke, like sometimes it was joke tricks, and then it just became this one time when I got REMs, the UFS REMs, the swivelly thing started to click more. And I just started doing that a lot and combining spinny stuff with grinds and stalls. And that was the initial thing. But the need to do it came from, there wasn't a lot like that in skating, that I would watch videos hoping to see something weird or something that stood out. And you would see it once in a while, more maybe in the early 90s. so I got more in touch with how I actually wanted to skate. It was somehow related to the Michael Jackson thing, and then just enjoying the feel of skating, and then maybe purposely pushing the grind thing away a bit more, and just enjoying weird stuff, and then maybe something to do with Canada and comedy. I'm not sure where that all fits in, but
Canada and comedy. What do you mean?
like there were still things that we did creative tricks, but there were still some, like, we messed around on our skates and did joking stuff. And there's a Canadian thing about not taking yourself seriously, but then at the same time being sincere. And then they're not sure if you're joking or if you're not. There's something there. And I don't know what that is. It's a cultural Canadian thing in terms of like the torch that has been taken by Danny and Express. There's like really good skating, but then there's the comedy's kind of there's funny stuff integrated into it, because rollerblading it's pretty funny. That's what made it extra funny when it took itself very seriously. A great quote I read on a message board once, which captures kind of the mid 2000s era, is when will rollerbladers realize that no matter how big they go, nobody gives a shit? And I thought that was really funny. Whether it's true or not, that's up to you. But we went bigger and bigger and bigger, like we were trying to prove something. And then a lot of the fun aspect of skating and the simple joy of skating, maybe more, like you said, on the Edwards side, that serious street skater thing, it really took over. That's a long-winded answer, but
This goes completely into something that I really wanted to talk to you about, which was after watching MB8, Mushroom Blading 8. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's out on YouTube. Linked in the video description below, by the way. But by watching any of your videos, recent or from the past, you could tell that it seems like you don't take it too seriously. And I'm curious how much of skating to you is serious and how much of it is just fucking around, because you do a lot of messing around in your videos.
That's the weird part. We take it very seriously and we're still very obsessed with it. But like Todd said on his podcast, we just film a whole bunch of stuff. And sometimes you just do something silly in the moment. And it's funny, we film all this skating and still we connect with doing that one silly thing. Like we could do a whole bunch of tricks, have half an hour of footage of doing tricks. But then the joke thing always ends up going in just because it's really funny. You put it in, you start laughing. So there's quite a bit of serious skating, obviously on a smaller level. There's trickless. There's, I guess maybe because we came from backgrounds of team sports, we still are extremely hard on ourselves mentally and we take it seriously, but then that's also funny too. So there's some joke tricks. It's more just to spruce up the session if you are taking yourself too seriously, to do a little joke thing. But we're serious. It's business. Like for lunchtime sessions, we get out of the car, we put our skates on, we're filming for 45 minutes. We pass the camera back and forth, film as much stuff as possible. It's serious, but at the same time, it's not.
I love that answer and that whole aspect. And the lunch sessions too, you do the same. I guess I remember Tom mentioned that too when we had him on the show, that like he would go out skating on his lunch breaks and come back to work like all sweaty and stuff from skating. You do the same thing too?
It's the best. It's like being retired from work for 1 hour. You come back a completely different person.
Are
You
those
come
the
back
best
to the
sessions?
office sometimes with this feeling in your head, like, you guys don't know this feeling. Like, I was just out skating and doing tricks. Like, going into meetings and things like that, you just feel like a more grounded, different person. And a lot of MB8, there were sessions that we filmed in the evening. A ton of that video was filmed on lunch breaks from work in 40-minute windows over a long period of time.
You guys never wanted to like incorporate that into the video parts, like anything about work or nothing? Because I think that's truly unique. I don't know too many people. I never heard of anybody else doing that really, except for you guys.
I keep the family world, the work world, and the rollerblading world all very separate. So it helps the world of the video and skating to keep work separate. For a long time, I think a lot of people at work didn't even know that this was a thing that I do. But I will be wearing the mascot costume, possibly in the future, doing one rollerblading thing. I will be integrating it into my work.
Wait, so what do you do
Oh,
for
I work
work?
at a university. Sorry.
Okay, so you also
Yeah.
wait, isn't that what Todd does also?
He works at a marketing agency in town.
Okay, so he was talking about you when he said you worked at a university. Then I guess I remember
Yeah.
something about a school involved. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're gonna wear the mascot costume?
Yeah, it's like, isn't it a mascot thing to have skates on and do a trick? So I finally offered up my services after 7 years
Are you
to
gonna
just
actually
do
do
one.
that?
I'm going to do one thing. I don't want anybody to ask a bunch of times. I want to give them one thing. So I hope everybody, I hope the rollerblading culture is okay with that. I'll try and make it look good, but
What is the mascot? What's the costume?
it's Wolfie. It's a wolf.
Okay,
The team is the Wolf Pack. So maybe just like a wheel slide or something. We'll see.
are you talking about in a game or just like
No,
on your
like
own?
something just for social media. Like I think
Okay.
they started a TikTok account. So like
Okay.
mascots are huge on TikTok. So why not?
That is very interesting. I can't wait for that to happen. Did you ever see the video of the? It was like a viral video of like a T-Rex, I guess, at like some basketball game on rollerblades going down the bleachers, and then he like falls and busts his ass. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, it was amazing because the inflatable thing kept like
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
like bouncing up and down.
That's what it was. Yeah, I remember
It's
watching
funny,
that and being in tears.
I still have this side of me that that wants rollerblading to look really good, and every once in a while I'll see something like a mascot. I'll think, oh, this just makes rollerblading look like a joke thing. But in some ways it's a fun tool to do lots of different things. So it doesn't have to be the same as the most core street skating video. It's okay, a mascot can wear rollerblades. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I definitely agree.
No, I totally do. I think like that was a lot of like the idea put forward, like kind of going against the core way of it, or like the old kind of traditional core street skater vibe. Do you think that's something that was like actively you were like, I'm going to push against this because like you were saying like skating lost its fun because like I was thinking about Austin's question. It's pretty good. Like, do you take it serious or not? Like, obviously you take it very seriously. You put a lot of time and energy into skating, and you're really good at skating, and so is Todd. But at times it does seem like it could be taking a piss or like making a joke at something. But there seems to be like that idea behind it, just to like show like you can have more fun with blading, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it just feels good to do that. And yeah, we were laughing because there's that one section with the Dylan Cooper song that looks like we're making fun of skating, but then it'll have like a really nicely performed trick. And I think that's an important thing. And it's also just getting to a certain point. You've been doing it for so long that it feels good to do that sometimes. And yeah, a lot of that stuff, we're not going to run that joke into the ground, but some of that stuff comes from that era of where skating took itself really seriously. Because even back in the mid 2000s, we'd be watching some of these videos and looking at magazine photos and stuff. And as fans, some of this stuff would be really funny, how serious skating was. And I totally get it. Oh, my light went out. I totally get it, but there was nothing to go against that. And I know mushroom blading won. I think maybe we were trying way too hard to push against the grain, came on a little too strong. But it was purposeful. Yeah. I remember going to Barn Burner and watching some videos where I had this feeling, is this even the same thing that I do that I'm into? Like I felt like when I was watching Barn Burner that it was a separate activity. I still enjoyed seeing the tricks, but it had nothing to do with how I looked at skating personally. So a lot of the mushroom blading stuff is just following that of like, what do I want to see? How do I want to skate? While still remaining a fan and historian of skating. Like I could probably take quite a few people in rollerblading trivia. I would do very well for myself. So as much as I push against it or poke fun at it, I'm a huge fan of it at the same time. That I'm just a giant grom.
Wow, that's crazy. Like to make it like a distinction like that. You were at the barn burn and you were like, "Is this even the same thing that I do?" Wow, that's pretty profound.
I'll tell you one thing that saved me. I did a swivel, like a 360 swivel to Macchio. I did it really nice. One of the best ones I've done. Eric Shrine came up and gave me props and said that it was super sick. But that was like one of the very few interactions I had that week. I remember being like so nervous and weirded out by the atmosphere of like the skating was incredible, but it was a hungry atmosphere. People were very serious. So props to Shrine. I'll always remember that.
That's a really cool Grom experience too. You got a lot of these cool Grom stories.
Yeah, I wasn't even a Grom then. I was 2005 maybe. Still a Grom, but like
Grom
we
for
were
life.
just
We're all
starting
Groms
to
for life.
release. What's that?
We're all Groms for life.
We are. Well, that's why we're here doing this.
Exactly. Me and Billy gromming the fuck
So
out
you must
right
have
now.
liked exactly. You must have liked Dominic Sagona skating a lot then. That might have been like more your style during that time.
The USD Tour video era, Dominique and some of his stuff in words, and then the second regime section, one of the best of all time. Like so futuristic, so loose, and I'm tall, so I can't imitate that style, but we were very inspired by it. Todd's got the Sagona style much closer than me, the Sagona influence.
Abstract 540s.
Yeah, like that was the kind of thing that seeing that section, that's what I was waiting for. So I was waiting for more things like that. It's definitely happening now all the time where I'm surprised by rollerblading, but that was one where you watch that and you think, yes, this is what I've been hoping for. Like, this is what I imagine people really good at rollerblading, completely breaking outside of the box and going their own way.
That's a great person to source influence from.
Like you were mentioning just before, or just a second ago, that people are doing it more nowadays. Are you finding it easier to be a fan nowadays, or you're saying you're surprised by it now?
I'm a huge fan of everything that's happening. I get surprised, well, especially in the past few years. It's so many surprising things. I love it. At the same time, there's still a little bit of, it's really not that hard to be creative on skates, but I know it's hard to get into the mindset. Something like Colin Martin's, the 25-cent dirt box edit, is similar to the Sagona one, where it's like it came out and it just completely not blew minds, but changed. He just did that one thing with the stalls, and some of his skating made you think like, I can't believe nobody's thought of that yet. So I think there's a lot of that still left to go. But in terms of how creative skating is being integrated with traditional skating is probably one of my favorite things right now. Because I think I'm not a very good skater. I'm average at best, possibly below. I just really love to do it. So when I watch people who are really good integrate creativity into their skating, it's really fun to watch. It's exactly what we wanted out of skating and watching skating. Todd said at the end of Mushroom Blading 1 that in 10 years, there'll be people doing really weird tricks. I think he referenced that, but we're here. It's good. Even, Bellino in the Mesmer, he's getting a little bit looser and integrating things, but it still looks like Bellino doing it in his own way. Loved it. And unexpected. Like, it was surprising seeing Bellino integrate some of that stuff that never would have flown, 5 years ago. 10, definitely not.
Yeah, I think a lot of that Bellino influence came like from him skating with Dominic a lot, and Dominic being experimentational in that way. And I think a lot of that experimentational stuff actually stems down to like you guys kind of opening the door there in a lot of ways. Um, it's funny because when you think about the core time in skating, it was very much in that way, but I think it takes courage to try something outside of that because like we were so vulnerable at the time or like worried like yes please believe we're heterosexual or whatever you say like that joke or something like really trying to prove our worth through like doing whatever gnarly stuff at the time. But I think did you find that like feeling when you were like starting to experiment with that stuff? Was there like insecurities in the beginning?
It's funny because you referenced, was it on Jan's podcast, which was a really good listen, by the way. Were you talking about like when you got to a skate park, you'd be in this like fight or flight mode sometimes, wanting
Well,
to
yeah,
prove
because
yourself, like wanting to show that skating
yeah,
is amazing, right?
yeah, like there was a moment when it was not that when I was a kid, but it was getting to be a certain point, and we were starting to feel some of that energy. And so we just go to the skate park and instead of like focus on having fun skating, we would just like skate maybe as fast as we can, doing like really fast royales and like jumping off or like trying to do bigger things. Just I don't know. It was we were trying to prove ourselves a lot at that time
Well, we did that too.
in
Like
that
that's the
way.
thing is
In
it
that
was
way.
something about the filming of the videos wanting to do weird or surprising things that I would do some of that stuff when the camera wasn't on, but I do have memories of being at Vancouver skate parks or at the Kamloops skate park that we would actually skate quite traditional. And in that, I'll never forget our friend Brian from Vancouver when he said, like, do you ever feel like when you're at Skate Plaza, this one in Vancouver, that you have to like prove yourself to the people there? And it's funny, that feeling of wanting to like do a really long grind or land a little bit harder or I don't know, assert yourself in the skate park. It's funny. I
Right.
imagine the spectator. I wonder if it made us look even worse sometimes that we were trying so hard. Maybe we looked really good. I don't know. I just remember
No,
that feeling.
I think you're right. It probably made us look worse because it made us look like insecure in that way. And I think there were some times where it was like it wasn't always like that. There was like genuine fun, but there were times you're like one of two or three bladers at a park, and there's like all these skateboarders, and you're trying to carve your way out, and you find your little path, and they're not respecting you. So you're like, let me skate in a way that'll maybe get some respect or something like that. And it's just was part of like the mindset, I think.
Yeah, I have a memory of there was this kid sitting on the ledge at the Kamloops Park. There's this thing, the snow speeder with a short ledge, and I was rolling by, and he said like, "Do a double heel click," which is actually something now that has been integrated, the double heel click. But he was saying it more as a joke. This would have been in the mid 2000s, and I remember circling back around and going over the snow speeder and just kicking his board out of his feet and said, "How was that?" And then I think 5 minutes later, my empathy is so intense that I was like, "Sorry about that, man." But like, I hated that feeling. I don't feel it at all now. And I think also I'm more relaxed when I skate. I think everybody is. We're older, we're smarter. I think skating looks amazing for a lot of the people who are good that do it. But like, all of that stuff has gone away. And I'll do weird shit. Like I don't even care. I do weird stuff, traditional stuff. Um, it's funny how that faded over time. Probably because the world changed and is more accepting of all stuff.
I think it's more than, like
Yeah.
I said, more than one thing. But I still see that in other sports too. I'll go to skate parks or skate spots and I see other people in other sports trying to be that person that like show off kind of mentality. And I think they're just trying to be like, this is our skate park. This is our spot. We're going to take this over real quick. And maybe it's a different mindset now, but it's the same effect, or it comes off the same way. I think, regardless of what point they're trying to make. I still see it now.
I think now probably people are just really confused that Todd and I show up and do a bunch of stuff first try, don't miss a lot. We're really serious. We film it all and we leave very quickly. And they're probably like, what was that?
Yeah, I wanna go back to what you said. You said that you're not that good of a skater before. I was like laughing in my head as you said that because I think you and Todd are some of the best skaters out, even now to this day. And I've been a huge fan of whatever you guys been doing for almost since you started mushroom blading, but I would say the last couple of years more so. Probably because I'm more open to different types of skating and stuff. But I've watched your videos more than almost any other videos online now. I feel like the term we used to like, what was it, like burnt, like play the tape to the end, whatever the fuck it was. I can't think of the term now, but like play VHS tapes like back to back. How many times have you seen Fast Shoes? How many times have you watched like Hoax or VG, whatever? Like I feel like I don't do that much these days on YouTube. It's not like I don't know, it's just a different meaning. But like I watch mushroom baiting videos like nonstop back to back, and you guys know what you're doing. I'm curious how people, like you said, like how they react to you, because some of the stuff you do might come off like to them like, oh, they're just like messing around, whatever, but then you guys are flying around the skate park, like you said, lacing everything, super confident. And it's definitely the hockey background, because you know how to actually like skate like rollerblade, like not just wobble around, like you're cruising through, cutting it up and everything. And I think that shows more than the tricks that you're actually doing, like that you know how to actually skate and rollerblade.
Yeah, it could be that maybe I'm not good. I've just spent a lot of time on skates. And in terms of reactions, you still get stuff of people. There's younger people who don't even know that you can grind on skates, people that have never seen it. And surprisingly, this was brought up on another podcast, but wizard skating attracts more attention than aggressive. I've found that people separate the two. Aggressive is like great at the park for yeah, it captures some people's attention, but sometimes you get really weird people stopping to watch or asking about what it is. And I'm not sure if it's because it looks more accessible to the untrained eye. But I don't know. Did that answer the question? I hope it did.
I don't know if it actually was a question. It was more of a statement, but
Okay.
that was a good point that you made. And yeah, no, there was no question. I don't think there was a question anyway.
No, I could see people making to the untrained eye, making a distinction because of just like the movements are different and the setup is different and it looks different. So I could see how that is. Um,
I think that's just the way it's going
before
now.
we
It's
get,
more accessible. Billy, you've
yeah,
mentioned this a few times in the podcast too, how you feel like it's more accessible too, because skating went a different way than throwing yourself down a 30 stair kink drop rail or whatever.
right, exactly.
Which I love to
No,
watch.
it's true. Yeah, no, it's great. um, I actually want to get into how you got into wizard skating and like everything like that, but I want to talk about, yeah. I guess you weren't the first podcast. There was Rolling Revival, but uh, getting into the podcasting and the making videos in general, or because like, going back to Austin's question about do you take it serious or not, like it's, look at all your work, it's obvious how serious you take it. Look at everything that's you put into it. So what made you feel the need to start that and call it Mushroom Blading Podcast, or Mushroom Blading?
It's actually the
What
How
did
to
the
Be Unpopular podcast.
Yes, I like
How to
that
Be
name.
People
Unpopular?
always call it mushroom blading though. But that was it was because podcasting was quite new. And it was really fun to use technology like this to either solo podcast, like I said, I wasn't able to talk about skating at work, and I don't like talking my wife's ear off on it. So it was a really good outlet to talk unedited about skating, talk to people in the history of the sport. And the videos was mushroom blading was always videos first, no matter what. The videos was always the obsession part of skating. The podcast was kind of a bonus. And then I guess because not a lot existed at the time, maybe more people may have known us through the podcast or liked the podcast and not connected with the videos. And then the social media thing was also a huge accident. So a lot of it got bigger or connected with people just because we're pretty obsessive about doing it, and just consistent. Like I said, the fact that you guys continued to do Jump Street, it's very important for skating, no matter what the vision is, to just continue making stuff. I love the feeling of putting out a new video or a podcast or a Patreon video. it's definitely, I'm not sure if it's a healthy outlet or unhealthy obsession. It might go between the two, but sometimes it feels like there's a force outside of us that is like pushing the obsession, or I'm not sure. I still think it's that you get a feeling from doing this stuff that you can't get anywhere else, and the outlet just feels so good to keep doing. And maybe it's Blade God. Maybe Blade God is real. He could be.
It could be. I mean, you are close to, if it is true, then you are close to the Blade God being in north of the border over there. So that could be part of it.
And so tall.
Like I can't turn it off still. Just got to say, I was in like a team building exercise today where we were doing. Have you guys done Myers-Briggs before? The personality test?
No, I haven't.
No.
Okay. Never mind. I'm INFP if anybody wants to know. But I was looking at the table and I wanted to topsoul it while this thing was happening, and it just never turns off. I don't know if I have to see somebody about it or if it's just this is who I am.
No, that's a great point. I don't know if I talked about this on a podcast or I talked about it with somebody else in person, but I remember a friend of mine who stopped skating for a number of years and then came back to it. And he was like hanging out at a session one time when we were all skating together. And he was just like, yo, that'll never leave you. Like this whole time, this like 10-year hiatus I took off, whatever, I'd be like going in and out of buildings to like work, whatever. I'd be like, oh, that's a sick route. I would love to like soul grind that or whatever. He's like, that feeling will never leave you. And I always picture myself like, are we really going to be 60, 70 years old, like outside of like our senior centers, like, oh, this ledge is dope, I would love to like blast a front side on this. Like we're really going to have that for the rest of our lives. I feel like that's never going to change.
Well, we've all got this far, which
That's
we're
what
the
I'm saying, yeah.
first. We're the first generation, so it's only we can take it as far as we want, really. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think the idea of like I don't want to be on it, but Billy, you might have to be on it. Some industry people having like a council, like people who really want to be in this for a long time should be organizing and have the best interests of like, because I know everybody wants to do it into their 50s and 60s or be a part of a company. Because like, yeah, I'm almost 40 and I still feel like that kid that loves skating. And it never taking a break, making a video every single year. And there's a lot of people right now in the same boat. I love that there's so many people that are skaters that have companies or are contributing in some way. And it wasn't like that before. We were all younger people who really liked it, who had middlemen or people above, not controlling it, but running it or making decisions. So I love it. Well, of course we can be here at 60 or 70. Also, science, maybe
Cyborg legs,
maybe we can bring hammers back when we're 60 and 70 with like, but then again, will they count as hammers if we're using bionic, cyborg enhancements or anything? And also, we don't have drug testing in rollerblading, so people could be filming very sick sections with testosterone supplements, whatever you need.
Are you encouraging this?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying there's no drug testing in video making.
Not until we make it to the Olympics or whatever. If that ever
okay,
happens.
sorry. Yeah, I'm not advocating anything. Sorry.
If that ever
I hope
happens.
I don't get you demonetized by suggesting.
No, I wasn't insinuating that. I was just, I didn't know where you were going with that, in all honesty. So I was just trying to see where your head was. I'm like, wow, NBA was filmed on like all these like supplements and shit. Like,
I'm not there yet. I'm open to it though. I'm open to it.
You're open to it. Okay. I feel like there's some people
I mean, now I feel like looking at Todd, it might be. I don't know.
I know you guys.
I think Todd in NBA.
I don't think so.
You guys.
I should ask him.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's really interesting. The idea of like a commission. I've always thought of that like being a really, really important thing. And I think if there was a commission, you should be on it because you clearly do have blading's best interest in mind. So I think, a group of 10, 12. I remember mentioning it back in the day to a few people. And they said, oh, we already tried that back in the WRS days.
Yeah. And
kind of threw in the towel with that. But maybe it'd be cool to try again in like a different way. Like you said, people who are definitely have blading's best interest in mind. That's a pretty good idea.
I don't know if I'm projecting my like adult side onto skating by wanting that, but I feel like it would be a good idea. Because yeah, working at a university, you always hear about committees and boards and things like that. And I know they maybe tried to do one at a Bitter Cold Showdown. They tried to have an industry meeting, and I don't think it.
Yeah. See,
I don't know if it went over well or what happened, but I
Yeah.
feel like it would work better now. Yeah.
they did have that for a while, and from my understanding, everybody just had their own company's best interest in mind, and not the best interest of the sport as a whole. And I think that's where the problem lied. But I guess it depends on who you have on the board. At that time, I believe it was all company owners, but maybe now it could just be enthusiasts, filmmakers, company owners as well. It could be a mix of everything. But if you have like the owner of like every boot brand or something like that, it might not work as good. I mean, there's different mindsets too in people nowadays. Like Billy's a company owner now. John Julio is as well. So there's people who actually see both sides of it and want the sport to genuinely succeed, not just their business to succeed.
Yeah, I think the communication between those companies would go a long way. You don't necessarily have to work together, but at least talking about things that have the best interest of the sport. Because I will bring up one thing I'm a little worried about, you guys. I'm a little worried about. There's a lot of skates coming out. I heard Lawrence talking about it on his podcast. There's a lot of aggressive skates coming out. I hope there's enough people to buy them, and I hope they sell quick. But like skate release schedules, like if companies were kind of, I don't know, working together on that one, like should it be
Staggered out
every 6 months? Yeah, I don't know. That's just one of the conversations that the board could have. You could be like, look, we made too many skates at the end of the 2021, early 2022 season. Should we consider having one or two standard models that you can restock, like not changing the colors or anything? That's a whole thing. But,
no, it's an interesting topic.
Are we a bunch of mid-30s people that buy multiple skates, or are there younger people buying skates, or is the COVID bubble done? We won't know, but I think this Christmas with all these skates coming out, there'll be a lot of conversations on how it goes. I could be wrong and everything could sell out, but it was that skates were selling and so many things were sold out. People were trying to get back into skating and there weren't skates available. And now this is the reaction to all of that. We're not actually sure how it's going to go. I think there's 14 aggressive skate brands, which is a lot.
Really?
Which is great if you want to find a skate. I hope everybody finds a skate. If you don't find a skate that you like right now, I feel bad for you because there's pretty much every option that you could want.
Wow. Yeah. We just lost Billy right now, so I'm not going to cut to the wide shot until we get him back in here. But it's very interesting that you say that. And you know how there's different awards every year that like people vote on or for whatever. It'd be interesting if somebody held one of those and just did like a survey kind of thing to see these statistics of like how many skates people are buying, how old people are, how much money do you typically spend on skate products and stuff like that. I feel like all that information is extremely helpful. And, people are voting for these awards at the end of every year. It could be the same thing as like research development for brands to ask these questions, because the more you know about your clientele, obviously the better your product's going to be. So, but
yeah, it would be amazing if the shops and the brands all knew more of that stuff. Because I don't think we do. I've always wanted to know.
I don't think so either. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just saying that based on the fact that I've never gotten a survey like that. Like, I never gotten asked any of these questions, and I've been
Daily Bread may have tried to do one. One of the magazines tried to do one way back when, and it must have been to do with WRS. That like it is really hard to know how many people are skating. What age are you? Are you coming back from a break? Or we don't even know. Or maybe, I don't know. Do you know, Billy?
No, I don't know. I definitely want to start getting out there and doing more like things that you were talking about, like back in the day, just demos. And I think it would be cool to work together with like other companies in doing that, like have a bunch of riders from each company go out and not necessarily compete and do the gnarliest thing, but kind of interact and engage with like the community and get people on skates, because it's just about opening up and exposing to a new generation. I think that's happening to some degree, but I think we can do a better job there. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. But I think we're at a place not where, oh, blading's back, but I think we're at a place where there's an opportunity for blading, if we continue to put in maybe a lot of that ground level work and a lot of that work that, like, you're contributing to, like, and we're all doing our best to just participate in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, companies working together would be very important in the next couple of years.
That'd be sick, seeing like a tour of demos. Like I feel like I said something similar to this before, but like your idea, Billy, also of getting people from different riders from different companies, like one or two from each team to represent whatever it is, and have demos in like Walmart parking lots or whatever it is, because I feel like that's a good way to get spectator eyes on the sport. And people are still surprised when they see it nowadays at the skate park. They'd be even more surprised they see it at the parking lot at their, Macy's or whatever it is, whatever you have in your town, Walmart or whatever it may be, Target. I was in where was I? Helsinki years ago, and at the mall they had a car in the courtyard of the mall, and a bunch of like maybe 10 skateboarders with a launch ramp over it, trying to grind it or flip over it. And it was hilarious because I filmed it and put it on Instagram, I think. And it was like this continuous clip, like a minute long, and no one landed anything. But there was the biggest crowd ever crowded around watching. Everybody in the mall was huge. And they had like a game of skate in the middle of the mall also. So like everybody on all the levels could look over and watch the game of skate. And it was like nothing was going on and all these people were watching it. So if that was like skaters landing their tricks, or like people like Damon doing like his front flips or whatever, I think that would be such an eye-catching series or event, whatever, and turn a lot of people into skaters or sell skates for all these other brands.
Yeah, definitely.
It seems easy enough to do. I don't know. I mean, I've never looked into it, whatever, but it seems like reasonable to do.
Yeah, that seems like it makes sense for sure. You said it a couple times on the episode, and I figure like it seems obvious, but you seem to make a point out of it. So I'm curious, like, your thoughts on it. If you could like elaborate further about if you're doing something, just continue to do it. Why do you see the importance of that? I see there was a lack of that a long time in skating, a lot of starting things, ending things. But why do you think it's important to like stick through it no matter what it is that you're doing?
Well, it feels good to be consistent, to keep putting effort into one thing. There was a hockey coach that said, hockey is like a bank. You only get out of it what you put into it. Rollerblading's the same. And I also think that rollerblading is a gift. And if you don't respect it, it will leave you. So I think people who stop things might get more jaded on it easily. Or if you don't have that momentum of keeping going with a project, I think the love or the joy of skating can fade out. So even if you do stop something, I think starting something new that sparks the joy is really important. I think as long as whatever the project is that you're keeping going with, as long as you get the joy from it and you're enjoying skating through it, that's really important. I guess maybe some people started things for the wrong reason or didn't think of the long term. There's always a dip that you have to get through where you start something and it feels really good, and then there's a dip where you have to put more work in and it might be more mundane, but then it always goes up. Just being Groms from Canada, obsessed with making videos and podcasts, I don't know. I feel like it's weird to be in this spot because I am just a Grom from Canada who loves to skate, who's obsessed with making videos. So it just goes a long way if you keep going, but something will happen or people will find it that attaches with it. Especially if you're being honest with what you connect with in skating and what you like, people will find it and connect with it. And the more the merrier, more styles, more visions. I always think about that when I read negative comments and things. That's like, there's a very good chance you're just stumbling across the wrong video. Like I can suggest something in skating that you will definitely connect with these days, because there's so much to connect with, no matter what you're into.
Have you heard of people not connecting like that?
But I think there's, on just recently on the them videos, there was, I think, the same guys commenting the same comment, watching every video about how they don't like it. And it's like, you can just watch something different. Yeah, I think hate watching is a real thing on YouTube, which is why I started the Patreon. I started the Patreon because I didn't want to make these tech nerdy videos available on YouTube, because I think there would be people who would watch them just to not like them. That is a weird thing, but I know it's not just in skating. I think people
It's a thing in
do
general.
that with television shows and things.
Yep.
Like they don't like it, but they keep going back to it.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know what
it's
music.
Like, yeah, well, I was saying, like, if you go to music videos and stuff, I can't think of one exactly right now, but if you go to like certain music videos, there'll be like, like 10,000 thumbs downs on it on YouTube. Like, are people like, obviously if you don't like it, you came here to watch it. If you really don't like it, you wouldn't have gone to the video, gave it a thumbs down. You know what I mean? So that is a thing people love to hate. It's real.
Deep down, they might actually really like it. They might just be afraid to say it. They might feel really good if they just admit that maybe they do enjoy it.
We'll see them.
Reading some of those hate comments, though, it's sometimes, if it's not abusive, it could be like funny. One person on the last video left a comment that said, "I remember rollerblading back in 1995. Everyone said it was gay, and it was extinct like the dinosaurs. I don't know how this popped up on my feed, but rollerblading in 2021, still gay." I was like, all right.
And then I love clicking sometimes to see like the profile. Like, I love seeing who it is. A lot of the times on YouTube it's anonymous, but then a lot of the times it'll be like recordings of them playing video games and shit on YouTube. And then it's like, okay, I think I have a good idea of who this is. But on other social media, you click on the person, you're like, oh yeah, okay, you're over 40, you're overweight. Like, sometimes pictures with their families and stuff. It's like, okay, I guess you're just blowing off some steam right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a logical reason behind all of it.
Weird.
And it's, I don't know how you could justify it in any way, but I guess it is kind of funny.
Gotta blow off some steam,
Yeah.
like you're saying. Just
But it's funny that you said, like, you go to look to see who the person is that's hating on it or something like that. It's like when he's like a shitty driver on the road and you pull over just to see what they look like. Like, it's not going to do anything, but like, you just have to see what they look like.
I'm always so curious, and it's usually the same guy or the same type of guy almost every single time. Like, the meme, all the people with sunglasses in their cars, and it says you're about to get a hot take in the local news comment section on Facebook. It's like a bunch of pictures of people with sunglasses in cars. That's the guy all the time. Sunglasses in cars, guys. Heavy.
Yeah, I mean, let them do what they're gonna do. No, this is it's all love. It's all love. It's funny though. I still have like a lot of stuff I wanted to ask about. Some of it's just like fun bullshit. One thing I wanted to ask you was, a conversation came up a while ago with me and some buddies, and we were talking about who has like the best certain tricks, whatever, and the best Mizu came up, and we were all thinking, we're like, no one really does have the best. Well, we couldn't think of anybody who had like the best Mizu. Like, no one's really known for having like a sick Mizu, But like, you came right to mind. I feel like your Mizus are like on a completely other level than anybody else's Mizus. And I'm curious who you think has a good Mizu in the industry. Because there was like 5 or 6 of us and no one could really put out like a good Mizu.
It's Seth Miner. Smell the glove.
That's a good one.
The bonus section.
Is that your inspiration?
Long ass Mizu,
long
3 out.
Mizu.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Probably one
Sweatpant
of the
days.
nicest ones ever done. And as I got older, I didn't like being a tall skater, but I discovered that sweat stance and Mizu is beneficial to being taller and having longer legs. It made so much sense when I found out Seth Miner was, I think he's around 6 feet. So the classic sweat stance photo and the Mizu in Smell the Glove. He just slides for so long, but it's something to do with having longer legs and the bend. There was also one in, I don't know if it's VG9 or VG8, the forward section, the Lenny Kravitz song. Dominique something. He's got K2s and he's in flat. It's one of the nicer ones too. Latimer had a good one.
Latimer had a good one too. It didn't necessarily blow my mind good, but it was a good one. I feel like sweaties are easier to make look better than a Mizu. That's why I specified the Mizu, because I can think of good sweat stances. But yeah, like Jaggers had a banging sweaty and stuff like that, but I never really seen like a flat Mizu that looked that good, that really stood out. I was curious what you thought, who you thought or drew inspiration for your Mizus were, because if anyone hasn't seen Joey's Mizus, check them out.
They used to be really bad too. They used to be really close together. Yeah, when I was younger.
I think the key is I could be wrong, but your knee to your front foot helps good Mizu.
The key to a good knees. Yeah, if you have, having good knees is important, but the key to a good Mizu is that you're just imagining, I just imagine I'm doing a sweat stance, if that makes any sense. The way I lean on it and lock it.
Yeah, you do it
and
like
the way
that.
I press into it. Like even on a ledge, I imagine I'm doing a sweat stance and the world is flipped sideways, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's an interesting way to look at it. I got to try that.
That is a cool way to look at it. Yeah.
I picture
so get in that way.
Yeah, I picture it now. It's like a near side sweaty kind of.
Yeah.
When you do it.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's a fun way to look at it. It's fun to explore like different ways of doing like the same trick and or like different ways of doing the same trick, as you guys have obviously explored a lot. I'm curious, when you look at skating now, do you feel partially responsible for like the contribution that you see out there? Because I think that a lot of that stuff stemmed from you guys, but I'm just curious if like you feel that way.
I don't know. I don't think so. No. I think other people, I guess so. There's just other people who were more talented that these things and then they got absorbed. Like Sean Keane or Scott Blackmore. There's a lot of names that pop up of people who like maybe got inspired by something, but then did it on aggressives or integrated it in a way that maybe we didn't. There's like a few things over the years. Even the 1 foot, one of my favorite tricks is the 1 foot fast slide wheel slide. B-Love apparently used to do those all the time, and he called it a Kopi Luwak. After that, there's the coffee that the beans, the
Luwak.
Animals poop it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Luwak.
Yeah. He hit me up one time and said that he used to do that all the time, but it wasn't something that was captured in a video, as far as I know. And a lot of it still is, we borrowed bits and pieces of videos. There was always this stuff in skating that we just borrowed and made our own. And then like not all of our experiments worked, but in terms of, I guess, doing it long enough where it got absorbed more, possibly. But it's just still weird to think about if we had a big influence. I'm not sure. Maybe the wizard thing was when it really started to, because the wizard style was like more powerful, more speed. It actually looked different than aggressive skating, and maybe that's had more of an influence than us in aggressives. Although we love skating both now.
Yeah, you guys do like the whole spectrum. Like you'll skate anti-rocker setups, and then you'll skate like 5-wheel setups sometimes. So it's just like whatever mood you're in, you try it out. Like, do you guys, when you go on your lunch sessions, you're like, all right, we're gonna do 5 wheels today. We're gonna do an anti-rocker session today. Like, is it like that or what?
Yeah, there's always there's a text the night before about what the setup's gonna be or what we're thinking. Usually we're on the same page. And I will say that MB7 and 8 might be the first videos in skating. I'm not totally sure where we skate everything. MB8, maybe even more, that we did anti, flat 55, flat 65, 5-wheel Wizards, 90 millimeter, 100 millimeter, Wish, both versions of the Wish. We skated pretty much every wheel size. The only one we didn't do, would be cool to explore just a standard like 4x80 again with no rocker or anything, like the standard free skate setup. But that is so fun. And Todd used the golf bag analogy, if that's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
I think of them as musical instruments, like where you can get different shapes and sounds out of your skates, is kind of how I think of it.
Yeah, I love that term, that analogy, because it is true as the case.
And Todd uses I like Todd's analogy, like the golf, like he sees like using like different instruments for different things. Or
we lost him again. All right, we'll make you Billy for now.
Yeah. I just want to tell everybody I have one of the nicest 540s in rollerblading history. Now that I'm in Billy O'Neill's window in Accidental Machines, you know the one. I just want to claim it.
Did he do it in both ways? Oh no, that was truth too. Okay, hang on. Let me get him back in here. This is going to be messy for a little bit. Hang on, let me see.
No problem. I can go back over.
Yeah, I gotta swap you around like this. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my internet today. I'm sorry.
Okay, hang on. We'll go boom.
I don't know what's going on with my internet today.
And then we go.
Here we go.
Nope. Okay, there we go. It's like playing.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
chairs.
I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on with my internet today.
No, it's okay.
But no, I think I agree. It's like musical instruments, or like different golf clubs for different things, or like a tool set. Like tools do different things for a different job. Like, and it's cool to have like all those things connect and be able to like toy around with all those new ways to skate. I think like the thing that's cool about it is you always get to be a rookie if you want to be. You always get to have something new if you approach skating this way, and it's fun to like for me, I've just been like seeing and like discovering like these new ways, and yeah, it's really cool. Like I don't know. Yeah, so thank you for contributing to that as well.
Oh, no problem. I will say, living in a small town with not a lot of spots, anti-rocker, we were surprised at actually how limited that one was. Like if you don't have really nice ledges, anti-rock, and if the ground's not great, like on weather-beaten cement, anti-rocker is very limiting. But doing a really nice long front side, going very fast, or a Royale, an anti, great feeling. Can't get it from any of the other setups.
No, just like exactly doing like knowing you could do like a back farf and trust it. It's just like that's a cool thing to be able to do. But it's also like, I skate anti most of the time. I'm trying to get a flat setup now that I might be able to have the option to do so. But I was skating flat for a little bit on some solo frames and was really enjoying it. But then I went back to skating anti, and I skated with like Miguel and Joe on some bowl, and like it's just not, you're scratching all over the place. You're like cessing, and it doesn't feel right. And you're like, no, I need those wheels there. So I think it's true, like certain wheels for certain jobs. But there are some people that are like, oh, you can do all the same things on flat that you can do in anti. But I don't know if that's necessarily true. The way you can do things, or like the way you can experiment in that space, like it just gives you more room, or at least trust in certain areas. But yeah, it's a good point.
I think you could do it all. It just feels different. That's what matters. It like you said. You said it best with the word trust. Trust is the key to like the difference in a flat and anti-rocker setup, especially like Joey, like you said, the front sides, blasting a front side anti-rocker. You don't always necessarily want to blast a front side and flat, depending on what you're skating. If you're at a skate park, it might be different, but if it's the streets, I've been sketched out a couple of times trying to or considering front sides or back sides on obstacles riding flat. So especially when you have fresh wheels on and like nice big 60s or something like that, It makes
and back Royale will get you in flat, very likely. Even when you're confident, it'll get you.
Even someone like you gets stuck, huh?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I feel like you get nice and low on your tricks too. That would,
although it teaches you good posture. on a back rail.
I love that about it too.
Yeah, for flat. Yeah.
That was half the reason why I started skating flat again too, is because I felt like I was getting lazy in a lot of my tricks riding anti-rocker, and then I rode flat one day, and I was like, oh, I have to think a little bit now to make my tricks better, to make them lower, or not better, but just in my eyes look nicer, get lower on your tricks. Position your feet the correct way. Like there's no loosey goosey. Like when you're riding freestyle, you could royale and be like, eh! Like when you ride flat, like you got to do it right. And you might think for the first few times, but then it becomes natural. And then
Nah. But that's wrong. That's wrong. That's dead wrong. That's dead wrong.
Prove me
That
wrong.
mentality's
Prove me
dead
wrong.
wrong.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
No, I'm not going to prove wrong. I'm saying that mentality is dead wrong, because it's not about like, oh, you got to do it right. First of all, what is right? To Joey and Todd's whole ethos, what is right? Like you could just experiment within that space, but I think it is more than the trust. That it's more than the trust. It's actual space you can do on certain tricks, actual obstacles that it opens it up to. There are certain things that if you're skating on a 60 flat that you're not going to be able to skate, that someone that can skate anti can. It doesn't matter how doing it right you can. It's just not going to be accessible, certain specific obstacles, certain specific things, and also ways to do things. So I do think that's a cool way to look at it, be able to like bounce back and forth between things. I'm a defender of the traditional way, but
I got nothing against anti-rocker at all. That was just my theory into going into riding flat.
But I don't think it's a do it right sort of thing. I think, there's space to do it in all these different kind of ways.
It's in your head. It depends. I mean, in my eyes, that was me doing it right. The way right is wrong. It's the way that I want it to be done. The way that I want my tricks to look. That's what I was specifically for me.
Totally.
Because you could do anything. Yeah. Remember at Powwow that launched the big fat thing? Like Julian Ba was doing front torques on that with a grab with the utmost confidence, riding 64 flat. Like it's.
Hey, I'm just saying, if Dominic Sagona would have skated flat, it might have had a different impact in his second regime part there. You know what I mean? That anti might have opened up the door for him to be able to skate in that way. So it's was he skating flat? He might have been skating flat. Actually,
he was in physics, I think. So he had almost a little bit of play in the way the anti-rocker setup moved in that section. Like there was a little bit more turning in physics. I could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure physics anti had a little bit more of a turning radius than a traditional.
Yeah, he actually might have been skating flat. I got to double back and check that.
Someone check the books.
I know he skated anti a lot. I know. Yeah.
Zooming in on a 360p video on YouTube, trying to see how many wheels are in his skates. Good luck, guys. Good luck. We'll ask Dominic. We'll get Dominic on the show. We'll ask him.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And the last part of that is anything is possible with wax. Just I won't say anything more. You can wax. Yeah, no, I won't say anything more.
Is there you should make a mushroom blading wax that comes with the wheels?
No, because I'm a wax. I'm conservative with wax. I'm not a huge waxer, so no, I don't want to make any statements on wax. I think skate park peace is very important. Wax communication is important.
Wax communication, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just me though.
Oh, we lost Billy again. His internet connection is going crazy right now. But so I want to talk about that theory then, because I'm going to sit here so I'm not. Okay, there we go. So you're conservative with wax. Do you do what all the skateboarders tell us and just skate faster, or how do you work around that?
I don't know. I just don't use a ton of it. And I find skating quite fast at things, and balancing out a grind just feels really good. In some cases you need it, but I don't like the stereotype of the rollerblader waxing everything. I think there's been a lot of I don't like just an overconfident rollerblader, but people will disagree with me that like people will say like, fuck that, wax everything and don't ask about it. I think it's a conversation. Yeah, I like sometimes things that are kind of medium, like not too fast and not too slow. And I like going fast and balancing it out. I find like you learn the grinds a little bit better when it's not overly slick. That's just me though. I have very strange preferences for skating. So
No, I think it's funny. I come from the place where we used to like wax everything all the time, and like faster the better, at least in a certain era. But I've been seeing a lot of people like adopt the, oh no, that doesn't even need wax, and then just skating it like as is in some scenarios. Or yeah, it's cool. Like sometimes feeling the grip of things is a
Yeah.
bit better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the grip, that's a really good, yeah, the grip is what I like. And it's not gripping to the point where you're slowing down. You can just feel the texture a little bit more of the object.
That's risky for flat rockers. Now you're talking wheel bite, not waxing stuff and doing back rails. But have you had much experience in metal frames as far as like grinding metal frames? Because I see you do a lot
Try,
of gear stuff, but I never really seen you do a metal frame review. I
I've
could be
tried
wrong.
flat frame, the Joe Sola frame and Sola frames, and I haven't fully connected with them yet. They're
With metal H
fast.
blocks though? With the metal H
Yep.
blocks?
Yeah, I
Okay.
have I have metal H blocks on the Solas. I got to use those ones more actually because I did really like it in terms of the grip on the grind. The
Hmm.
metal H blocks felt really amazing.
Hmm.
That they're fast, but you feel the grind a lot more. Like it's a nice, confident feeling over plastic.
Yeah, I
So
liked. I was gonna say because when I was riding solo frames, I have a solo frame setup, and I do ride the metal H block also, and only for skate parks for me because I haven't really been able to work them on street. But I would go to skate parks. I would never need to wax anything because it's usually metal coping or metal angle line or whatever it is, and I would just fly around and everything slid. Like I never had to wax anything, and
oh, but only on H block grinds. Soles
slow,
are soles feel dangerous. Yeah, like on skate park ledges and things. Coping's not too bad,
dangerous. Like don't
but it
slide. You
could.
mean?
Yeah, like sticky. Sometimes the way you press into the frame can bite you.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I never noticed that.
yeah. That's why I like a little bit of plastic on this. Like a metal H block is fine, but I do like a little bit of plastic for soles. Yeah, maybe Kamloops skate park ledges are weird, but
Is that big park that you skate in all the mushroom landing videos? Is that Kamloops?
yeah. And it's funny, people who have come to it more recently, it looks really amazing on camera, and some people see it in person. They're like, "Shit, there's like really worn out, sketchy spots. It's not as smooth as people thought it was."
It looks
Because
seasoned,
it's
that park.
yeah, it's weather beaten in
Hmm.
some places, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, that's funny you say that. I said the same thing too. I see that park and it looks amazing.
it is the greatest skate park in the world. Even if it's not, that's just its name.
Um, in a little bit, we're probably going to get into some questions, but want to ask you a couple of things first. Before I do, just want to say if you're watching live, please hit the like button and shout out to our sponsor, Blank. Um, so you were talking about uh, basically the direction of rollerblading and the boom that could be a corona boom, and that whatever is happening blading right now. What do you see? What do you think the future of blading is in the short term and in the long term?
I was cautiously optimistic. I think it might shrink down again a little bit. I think in terms of the people behind it and the skating and the projects will all remain amazing, but I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna if the numbers will continue. I could be wrong. I think there's a lot of potential in the big wheeling and the wizard thing. It's just hard to say right now. Like I do have a feeling that rollerblading could be a lot of older guys that have um, that are buying new stuff but only using it a little bit, going to the park, I don't know, a couple times a week or maybe on a weekend warrior type thing. In terms of like them buying gear, that's really good, but I still don't know about new participants. So but as like the culture of skating and the visions and styles and projects and companies, I think all that stuff will still be really good. But I think the conversations need to happen on like if shops are talking to companies, are people still buying skates or was that just a corona thing? Hard to say because it's winter as well. Like maybe Santa will bring a lot of skates and then or maybe in the spring and summer it'll go up again. Hard to say.
I always thought that in case like the corona numbers, pandemic skaters like rose super high, like say like 500%, even if it stops in the middle, we're still in the green, you know. We keep losing Billy. I say we're still in the green, you know what I mean? Say if 100 skaters started skating in your town from the pandemic, if 50 of them stick around, 30 of them stick around, we're still up, you know. It's still
Yep.
good for us, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
either way, I think the growth kind of helped, and yeah, I mean that's what I think is happening. We got Billy back here. Hang on, I gotta play musical chairs again with you guys.
Yeah, you're right.
This is ridiculous. I don't know what's happening.
It's all
Sorry.
good.
Must be a bad link. This has never happened, but yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. The growth happened, so that's a positive. That there's still a lot of people who got back into it, a lot of new people who had never done it, people who skated big wheels who wanted aggressives. A lot of that happened. It's just hard to know of those people. Are they fans for a year? Are they fans for life? Tough to say.
It is.
We'll know in a year or two, I think. Even maybe in the next year, we'll have a better idea. Probably, but
A ballpark, because we don't know for sure. We don't have the stats on this, which is what I was talking about earlier about
We need
the
them.
surveys. Yeah, we do. We do need them.
Well, now's a good time to keep putting out stuff, I think. I don't know. I think people, not everyone's looking, but like there's an opportunity now. So it's a good time to create and think out of the box, like something different than just, regular edit. Like maybe I like a lot of the themed ideas that people have been doing lately, like with their skating and bringing in different ideas, crossing ideas. Kelso's been bringing in some themes, and yeah, that's cool. So that sounds actually that's it sounds like a realistic answer coming from you, but it doesn't sound like an overwhelmingly positive one. But
I know I could be wrong. And I'm a dork who's like buying, like, I wanted to save Patreon money to get a new computer and camera, but there's so many skates coming out to try. Like, I want to try all the skates, and I'm sure there's lots of people in my position that are gonna buy a bunch of skates and try them. That's not a bad thing, even if there's fewer participants, but they're very well engaged in all the gear stuff. That's a good thing too. Yeah.
Well, let's get these numbers up. Either way, I still think it's good. People came back, even if they skate once a year from the pandemic skaters. If they skate once a year, fine. It's better than not skating at all. They buy one pair of skates a year, still, it's fine. You buy one set of wheels, it's still helpful,
And everybody who's getting back into it, please be careful, because like I've seen some bad falls of people who want to go right back into what they remember doing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Build up slowly, everybody.
Have fun. There's nothing to prove,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
Sometimes in your head though, it can get serious, and you try something, and not so much for me.
I kind of want to segue that into something else that I wanted to talk about too. So for the people coming back, about being safe, being cautious, your bodies aren't as young as they were, 10 years ago, whatever it is. I always watch your videos, and I noticed that you will skate like a tennis court, flat ground, and you'll be wearing like helmets and shit. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. You want to be safe, you have a family, whatever. You just want to be cautious. And then in Mushroom Blading 8, in NBA, you crack your head on a tennis court, like crack it, and then you instantly go and you have a clip with the helmet on right afterwards at the same spot. Like, was that just you got caught slipping? Like, what was that about?
I have a lot to say about that.
Oh, I would love to hear, because that was, to me, one of the most, unfortunately, one of the most entertaining clips. But for that reason itself, just because I can question that in my head.
Yeah, it was, the helmet thing came in. I was very inspired by Mike Vallely. I think that's the name, that the skateboarder. He started wearing a helmet and was like an older guy that he had the X Games Real Street thing. And I have to start off by saying I don't like skating in it. I don't like the way it looks. I feel way better without it. So at first, it was when I was around 33, so before I had kids, I started wearing it, and then it started to get loose, where it's like I did hit it within like the first two. I hit it on coping with my helmet on, hit my head within the first few weeks of getting the helmet, and I thought it was cursed. And then it started to get loose, where it's like, okay, flat ground, you definitely don't have to wear it, and it felt so good, looked good. Although, don't listen to me. This is just my own personal opinion. I think when I wear the helmet, it looks more like a sport, that I'm doing a sport. When I don't have my helmet on, it feels more free. Or as Arlo would say in that old MTV, it's a soul thing, he said. Like, I don't know, the freedom of skating just feels better without it. But then, yeah, I hit my, that day, I put the helmet on. I did the thing where I jumped over the tennis court net and did the torque swivel. And then for some reason, like I had my helmet there in the tennis court. I put it on. I was like, oh, I jump over the tennis net. I don't want to smash like the front of my head open. Took it off, and then got worked. Got worked on a fakey 1 foot alley-oop toe roll, like kicker thing. But the background on that day, that session, was we had forest fires all summer up here and smoke, and my house was on evacuation alert, that the fires were really close to where I live. And that night before that session, there was this miraculous huge rainfall that stopped everything. So we had been skating, breathing in smoke. Oh. And that tennis court session, you can see there's puddles and things, that it was the first time we had actually skated in fresh air without breathing in smoke in a long time. I had just shaved my head. It was one of those sessions where like we were breathing in fresh air. We were lacing every single idea that we had. Sometimes there's sessions like that where you're just completely on point. And I had done that like fakey squat toe kick thing in MB7, but I had done it a lot slower. And I was just feeling so good that like, I'm going to do this full speed and kick my leg as high as possible. And the wizard frame is, I've had some falls where if I kick it too high, the weight of it can actually throw your body. And then the worst part was that earlier I had worn my helmet. So that was my moment where it was like, okay, I was getting a little loose with the helmet. You can get worked flat ground wizard skating. And I will say, so I've hit it like in my entire skating career, I think 4 or 5 times, 3 times with the helmet and twice without. And 3 of those times were going fakey really fast without really thinking about like getting maybe a little bit too loose.
Like you got stuck in a crack or something?
One of them was, yeah. One of them was with like Danny and all them. I hit it with it on. I was like just getting too eager skating with them, like too high energy. And I think it hit a crack with some mud, and then my frame clipped. Another one was like a fakey carve in a bowl. We had filmed a good one, and I wanted to get one better. Like a lot of them come from ego as well, where you're not like taking that moment, that like it can get you in so much trouble when you're like, I'm going to get another one, but better or faster or, so everybody, fakey will bite you more likely. And then in terms of the aftermath of that hit with the helmet, I like last summer, I felt off for a week or two, like standard concussion stuff, but it healed up way quicker. But this one, like the back of the head, it's still like once in a while, it's still a little bit off. So like, I hate wearing it, and I don't like the way it looks, and I don't like skating in it, but I like hitting my head with it on more than I like skating without it, if that makes sense. Because like, yeah, especially getting older and having a kid, aftermath of this one was really bizarre. Like I think it's called post-concussion syndrome, where it was weird for a while. Like like feeling normal, but then your balance being off. And yeah, I went to the doctor though, and she didn't care. Like she was like, you didn't pass out, you didn't puke or anything, or you didn't have loss of consciousness. It was just a bonk, and that was it. But I felt really weird. But she made me feel better that like me going in, getting my head checked, she wasn't worried, which made me less worried. But in terms of like the symptoms of that hit, man, not good. So, and there could be a lot of people skating without a helmet where nothing could happen at all. So I'm not going to say do or don't, but the moral of that story is you can totally get messed up flat ground wizard skating.
On the smoothest ground
Couldn't
ever.
Couldn't believe it. And it was almost at the point where like I didn't watch the footage for like I think I waited like a month to watch the footage because I was like, maybe it's not going to be as bad as I thought. But it was bad. And you almost don't want to use those things sometimes in the video to bum people out, but it was the right song. It was edited correctly. It worked in the video, but I never want to stress people out by putting that stuff in. But I think where it was sequenced in the video, it's important to remind people that you can get fucked up just even skating flat ground. Not everybody's trying to kick their leg over their head going full speed on one wheel. So that's what made it funny. Oh, and the shame that you feel, especially when you have a kid, like both times I've hit my head and like you go home to play with your kid. It's one of the worst feelings to know that like you could have done something way worse. And like people finding out like, oh, what happened to him? He messed himself up doing a rollerblading trick. Like it's just
At a tennis
but
court.
it's what we do, and it's something that happens. So I know that I think head hits and certain falls that look extra bad, I know that more recently they don't get included as much in videos, so or they cut quicker. Anyways, that's my whole thing on that. I don't have a right answer on it.
I'm kind of glad to hear you say that well, first of all, I'm glad that you were okay. I didn't know that was that serious of a hit where it had like some repercussions on it. Cause I mean, there's been times where people hit their heads and there's like, get back up. Like, okay, whatever, that sucks, but I'm okay. Glad that you're okay. But I'm kind of happy in a way to say that you're honest about it, that you don't like skating in a helmet. Cause I feel like most people don't, but when they do wear helmets, they want to trick themselves into like thinking they feel good or cool or whatever. I mean, I personally myself am the same way. Like if I have to wear a helmet at a Woodward or some skate park or something like that, you don't feel confident, you know, like ironically enough, like I don't feel like myself in a helmet. And you stick it out though. You still lace the fuck out of all those other tricks with the helmet on. So, you know, more power to you. You're still killing it either way.
Thank you. And I will say one more thing. Todd has that fall in NBA where like I have a giant head. Todd has a much smaller head than me, and he's more built here that I think if my head was smaller and my upper body was more built, I could have possibly saved myself. Because on his, you can see he had his helmet on for his, but like his core is fully in action and his head whips back, but he actually stops it with his core strength. So I think like me sitting at a desk all day and kind of hunched forward, I learned a lot about like that I have to build my neck and my shoulders up and be careful with my posture, because I think I could have possibly avoided that. But part of me thinks my leg was up so high that I don't know.
Yeah, I watched it.
What a way to hit your head.
I watched it a couple of times, and you put it in the slowest of motions ever possible, so it's easy to analyze it. But like if you stop it on the frame when your head actually makes contact with the ground, like your limbs are nowhere near your head. Like sometimes people like you can see them try to like protect themselves or curl up, and you're just full on like, nah, my head is going to the ground right now. There's no stopping it. Like you almost intentionally wanted to do it. It looks like that's how.
Oh, well, I had taken falls like that. I had taken falls like that before, but never at that speed. So that was the problem, because I hit my tailbone really hard. Thankfully, that took more of it. I always wondered, like, if I was 20 or 30 pounds overweight, I may have gotten fucked up even worse on that one. So I'm happy that it wasn't anything too serious. But something definite, I can't tell if something got knocked into me sense-wise or knocked out. That's always just going to be a clear mark in my skating history. That one moment. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're all right, and I'm glad you could shine some light on this stupid ass thought that was in my head about you guys wearing helmets while skating flat ground wizard skating. So, thank you for that.
I mean, some of the worst injuries you get on like the smaller things, or the things that you do like when
you don't
you're not
expect it.
taking things serious. When you're like skating something like you're taking more serious, you're like more focused. But when you're playing around, I think that's when you're more almost at risk for an injury. So
You let your guard down.
You never know. You never know.
Should we open up for questions soon?
I think we should open it up for questions. We're gonna, of course, as always, prioritize the super chats first. As always, our guest gets half of our super chats, and anyone else in the chat watching live, we're gonna open up for questions now. So if you have any questions, please line them up. And as always, if you're watching live, or if you're not watching live, please hit the like button. And
Oh no, we lost Billy again. Hang on, this was per the request of, wait, where are you? Per request of Rob G, who texted me a few minutes ago. He wants you to do your this as Billy O'Neill since you're in his window. So Billy, how's everything?
Where did he end off? I can try and finish it.
I guess he's telling people to subscribe and like the video and everything.
So as always, half of the super chats go to our guest, and I just
Who's
want
our
to
guest
let
this week? Don't tell me I lost you too. Joey, don't tell me I lost you too. What's going on right now? Hold on, are you back?
I'm in the cursed window.
No way. Wait. Yo, what's going on right now? Hold on. This is like unreal. We just had Joey on and he froze and we lost him. Hold on. Okay, he's back. Oh no, I lost. Wait, what's going on? Hold on. Hold on. We're having the wildest day right now. Okay, please.
I don't understand what's happening with this. My connection's great, but
stick with us, everybody. I don't know what's going on either. But let's jump. Should we jump into these questions?
Yes, let's jump into the questions.
Let's get them going. Okay. Let's do our
Thank you, Joey, for dealing with this. I'm sorry about this.
I'm an extremely patient person. I'm just happy to be here.
Enjoy the ride, because it might get worse than this. Who knows? Let's see where these questions take us. Dave Quist asks, can we get a mushroom blading t-shirt with the drawing of Joey and Todd with the mushroom helmets?
Maybe. I'd be weirded out if I saw somebody wearing that. But plus, it's not. That's somebody else's art, I think. You'd have to ask Todd. Todd is the vision for the art and brand direction. So,
was that the guy from who lives in Thailand who did that?
I can't remember. Damn it! I'm sorry. I can't remember the name of the person who did it. Todd probably would.
I could be wrong, but I think. I mean, I forget what his real name is, but his name is Same Boat on like our Patreon and when he's on our YouTube.
Yes,
is that him?
I'm pretty sure that's him.
He's Canadian. That's why.
That sounds familiar.
He's Canadian, but he lives in Thailand, and he did a artist drawing, sick ass drawing of me and Billy also, and then he showed me your guys' stuff. He did a mushroom blading one awesome, which is hilarious. I love that one too. But I'm sure he wouldn't mind if that made it to a shirt or a wheel or something like that. Who knows? All right. Next super chat we have from Rand McNally, who says, John B, Nikki A, Mike C, Delcaz, Task, Leon, Richie, Dustin, Todd, Joey, Danny, Colin, Tommy. Canadian skaters are all super unique. What about our culture do you think makes us skate the way we do?
This one's easy, but it's not exclusive to Canada. We just have the long winters and a lot of time to think about skating. And then in terms of the East Coast, they had Taj Mahal Skate Park. So, but they were still Canadian, and John Bling and Nicky Adams, like the East Coast guys, still had a different flavor to their skating that was uniquely Canadian. Not sure what that is. It could be long Canadian winters. That's what it is for me. That's my answer.
Interesting answer. Wasn't expecting that one. That Mountain says, love you, big guy. Keep pushing the sport forward.
Thanks, big guy.
Big guy. Danny Twitch. Awesome guest as always. Thank you, Joey, for all that you do in rollerblading. Billy, will Mesmer be selling T-shirts and socks at some point?
Yeah, we're gonna have T-shirts out soon, like this week, and socks. We haven't done socks yet, but that's a good idea. I'm gonna think about that. Thank you. Thanks for the question.
I want some Mesmer socks. We
want
have
those.
another super chat from Nick Lyon, who says Damon Franklin is easily the most famous blader on earth right now. Everything he touches goes viral. The culture needs an Air Damon / Mesmer skate. What would we need to do as a community to help? There's a lot of Mesmer questions in here.
I don't want to talk about Mesmer stuff anymore.
I will. I won't answer that question, but I'll talk about
Joey,
it.
should we put you in the Billy window again?
No, Damon is great.
Okay, yeah, so we might have to put you in the Billy window. This is insane. All right, there you go.
Okay. Well, I won't answer that question. I'll say Mesmer hasn't announced their AM team or any other riders. We have a good set team. I won't. Yeah. I'm not going to answer that question. It's Billy.
Okay. He's ringing in again. Hang on.
I will say Air Dolphin's recent video was an absolute masterpiece. I was very happy
to
see that. Yeah, that it reached a very wide audience.
Is that we lost everybody here.
To be honest, going back to what I was just saying, I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk about anything anymore if I keep getting.
Yeah, this is a little crazy.
No, I appreciate the question with that, and I love Damon's skating, and I appreciate the input with everything, definitely. But yeah, I'm gonna just try to do the best we can with everything. Thank you.
And yeah, 17 BKS says Unwin Top Soul in OK Buddy intro is the best.
That the kink that he went around. Yeah. I love people discovering our old videos and being like, is that Unwin? There's people who know him from his huge YouTube channel, and then that he shows up as an aggressive skater in our old videos.
Who's
Amazing
Unwin?
Top
Who's
Soul.
Unwin?
Sean Unwin from the Flow Skate YouTube channel. I think it's the most popular skating YouTube channel, possibly. Yeah. Maybe I'll post that to Instagram.
What is like a rec blader? Like a urban skater?
No, he's someone who he grew up aggressive skating with in Canada, and then he started a channel where he did kind of a mix of both, and now he does these flow skate videos in Wizards where Alex films him in downtown Calgary, and his channel's huge, and he's just a fellow Canadian that we grew up skating with that now has a huge YouTube channel. But
that's cool.
He also has an amazing topsail in the intro of "Okay, buddy, fuck whatever, no seriously though, how to be unpopular." An Arlo approved cult Canadian skate VHS from 2003.
Arlo approved.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, Arlo approved. We sent it to before the internet. I would send tapes to people, and we sent it to him. And another one of those moments that kept the spark going is I got a really good email back from Arlo to Todd and I about how much he liked the video. That he saw that it was something very different than what was going on in skating at the time.
What year was this?
2003.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's really cool. Oh, okay. I'm not even going to bother with this anymore. Okay. We have a super chat from, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Mike Torres, I believe it's pronounced.
Mike.
It says, donating to the Abolish the Kamloops Biodome Fund. Free Joey / Todd.
I will travel eventually for skating again. I'm pretty comfortable here, though. I'm pretty comfortable in Kamloops.
By the way, we're going to just keep you guys switched like this because every time you leave, Billy, have to swap around whatever. So
now I'm in the cursed window, though, so I'm going to be the next one to drop out.
No.
You should just fake it that you're frozen once in a while. All right. We have a super chat from Wizard Skating. The Wizard Skating. Joey, is it rollerblading air quotes, or air quote inline skating? Why? Thank you for everything you and Todd do. Blade, God bless. Canadian flag.
I call it rollerblading because I like how it has that kind of fun, like it gets a reaction out of people. It's got like, it sounds futuristic and old at the same time.
What do you mean it gets reaction out of people?
Just the word rollerblading is you can just say it sometimes and it puts a smile on people's face, or it's an unexpected that a lot of people just have a weird attachment to that word or reaction. So like, I think if I tell somebody that I'm really into rollerblading, it sounds more interesting than inline skating. I do throw in both, but I call it rollerblading. And I'm sorry for the people who really like inline skating, but I just call it rollerblading.
Fair
I like
enough.
saying it. It's more fun to say. It's more fun to
Rollerblading.
write. It's I don't know. It's a more fun word. And I didn't, I don't know. For a while, I thought I didn't like it, but I've grown to love it.
And you'll actually say inline skating to people? I feel like that's very
Once in a while,
specific.
like if I'm in a more professional mood, I think inline skating is the more professional one. Like, I'm really into inline skating, or I am an inline skater. But I say rollerblading way more. Yeah.
I think it's just easier for people to know what you're doing when you say rollerblading,
Yeah, exactly.
even though it's not politically correct. Air quotes. Super chat from David Moynihan, who says, what kind of socks you skating?
This is for a Patreon video. I skate in thicker socks when I skate aggressives. They're Lorpen Merino wool, I think. And then
Wool?
like like warm. Yeah, wool is. It
Yeah.
doesn't get too like
I feel like that's
cold
really
and,
heavy.
but it doesn't get like cold and wet. Like in terms of what it does with moisture, I've found I really like them. Plus, I skate kind of bigger. I don't skate super tight aggressive skates, so I have more room in the shell and the liner. And then for wizards, I skate Descent, which is like an outdoor mountain bike snowboard brand, really thin compression socks. I think socks and footbeds, there's room for rollerblade specific, more technical things in the future. But I'm not going to go there personally. So that, yeah, Descent and Lorpen socks. I skated in knee GG, the toe socks, for a long time, but they were expensive. And when I would stretch, I would rip the toes. Like stretch with my shoes off at the skate park, they would rip easily. But the toe socks were really, really good. Felt like having bare feet, because I did barefoot for a while in the Rems days, like Bobby
Ew.
Orr.
How why'd you do that? That's a risky
Just
move.
felt better. The Bobby Orr quote, he just played hockey without socks because it just felt better. It was the same with rims, but yeah, not great for growing a fungus party
Yeah.
in your skates or your toes. Yeah.
And I'm sure the smell wasn't that good. I could be wrong.
Boot dryers now, though, I think you could skate sockless as long as you have a boot dryer. Life changing. I'll always say it. Anyways, there you go.
Let's see. Next super chat. We have the super chats keep coming in, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get to any of the questions if we keep getting super chats in.
Well, people got a super chat then if you really want to ask our guest something. I believe our next super chat is from Shred Major, who asks, when are we getting a Hoax 2 style Joey and Todd Do America tour?
I'm still really comfortable in Kamloops. If life and financial and work allowed some travel, maybe. But people who have kids know it's like it's pretty painful to be away from your family for a while. So maybe like for MB 15, I don't know. Maybe when we're in our 50s and our kids are older, I don't know. Maybe we do one of those. But I would love to meet everybody in America and see a lot of America. So eventually, in the next 15 years, 10 to 15.
Okay, we'll hold you to it.
Okay.
In 15 years, when we're at episode 4,000, whatever, we'll have you back on to see if you follow through. How's that sound?
I usually do. Yeah.
Okay, I believe you. I believe you. We have a super chat from what?
Chad Hornish.
Chad Hornish. Yes, my Alexa was going off. Is it? Is grabbing tricks okay? Shut up, Alexa. Stop. Chad Hornish
Definitely.
says, is grabbing tricks okay? Oh no, wait.
Definitely.
He changed it. He says, is not grabbing tricks okay? He re-super chatted.
Yeah, I don't like. Well, in my traditional aggressive skater mind, just don't hang your foot down in any weird way. That if you are doing ungrabbed, like you have the ability to get in a nice posture. So use the ungrab to your advantage in the way that you're doing your grind posture. Yeah. You okay there, Austin?
My cat just blew up the litter box. So I have the litter box right behind me. I'll take care of that in a second. But we have a super chat from.
Colin Martin.
Yep.
I could pick some of these
Okay,
up.
go
I can
for it.
see.
Go for it. Let me spray my red room real quick.
Yeah, since you're suffering a little bit. Colin Martin asks, one, how has mushroom blading TM changed rollerblading? Two, who is holding you hostage in Kamloops? Three, will you forgive me?
Mushroom blading has possibly loosened up the way people skate or think of skating, or got people to think of skating differently. Yeah, maybe just loosened up skating, expanded the view, possibly. This is like the third thing about us not leaving Kamloops. I really am comfortable in Kamloops. I do want to travel eventually. Nobody's holding me hostage. The joy of skating is very accessible here, and I don't need to look for it anywhere else. But I do want to meet more people and skate more things. If we do travel, it'll be some very serious video business blading with meeting people. And then will I forget? I've thought about forgiving you, but it still hurts. Yeah.
What'd he do?
Yeah, I was so excited to open the Them skates when they first came out, the 908s, and I did a live stream, and him and Tim Kelly, it was the first time I did like a live stream, and they just kept typing Abibis over and over and over again, and it was more annoying than 20,000 OG Blader hammer comments, and it really turned me off of ever live streaming again. And
Damn.
Also, I love their skating. I love Tim skating. I love Colin skating, and it was so annoying. Yeah. So I will forgive you eventually, but I'm still hurt that something so exciting that I wanted to do, it made me feel all the feelings. I don't, and even Abibis. I love Abibis, but I don't like what they did with the Abibis term in the chat. Shout out to Abibis and Colin Martin. Thank you, Colin.
Colin, please don't do us like that, please. In our live chats. We have a super chat from Sean Carter, who asked, do you know what happened to Billy Vo? Who's Billy Vo?
Billy Vo, one of the most stylish skaters in Canada. He has some tricks and hooks for, but famously he had a really nice cab driver picture in an old box magazine. I think he got into some, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say anything, but he was really talented and life took him in other directions. And I think he's around still, but just hasn't skated. Just the classic there's been so many gifted skaters in the history of the sport that just drop, and it's the worst. Especially he was one that we looked up to the most. Really stylish, talented Vietnamese skater with brothers that skated as well. Yeah.
Hit him up. Have him make a comeback.
Incredible skater.
All right. The super chats just keep on coming. Thank you all again for these super chats, by the way. We split half with our guest, and we prioritize your questions. So we have one from Aaron Schultz, who says, since the best Mizus were already covered, who has done your favorite negative Mizus? Preferably best negative Mizu per continent, but the top 3 worldwide will suffice. Cheers from Iowa.
I don't have a best negative Mizu because that trick doesn't always look great, but just the one that I reference first in my mind is Eric Burke in the Pell section. It's probably where I go to first because that's just the one that I remember. So
Yeah, that's what you think of.
Eric Burke.
Good answer. Super chat from Des Jones. What happened to Dana? Does he still skate?
Yes. Dana still does very nice grabs out of bowls. He's living on the island, skates once in a while, and could probably still beat Todd and I in skate. One of those people that's frustratingly talented still on skates, even if they put him on once in a while.
Love those people.
Yeah.
Always good to see. Still more super chats. We have another one from Nick Lyon who says, for all 3, what's your favorite trick to do and favorite trick to see? Well, we'll start with our guest.
The one-footed fast slide wheel slide, and I love a good 540. Watching one.
Watching
Or
one.
topsail.
So it was 1 and 1. Okay, Billy.
Favorite trick to do? I like to do like front royale or back royale or a topsail or a mistrial. But favorite trick to see? I've been liking watching toe rolls lately. Yeah, toe rolls look really cool. Alley-oop toe rolls are cool. I like those toe slide things you do, the Michael Jackson things. Just on a side note, I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but it's up there. I like that one a lot. But I think right now my favorite is like the toe roll stuff. Just alley-oop toe rolls look really cool to me.
Does that have a name, that trick, by the way? The double toe deal?
I just call it just a toe slide. Somebody more talented should definitely do it to a rail. It's very possible.
Oof, that's a good one. For mine, favorite trick to do, probably backside or back farf. Favorite trick to see, I don't really know. I'm going to go with a double backflip. Shred Major says, any plans for mushroom plants? Love to see more clothing design to withstand rollerblading. Why do you think pants are such a divisive subject? Divisive subject.
Pants are just as intimate as, like, skates are a very intimate thing, more so than a bike or a skateboard. So the thing that is touching the skates is very important, and that is the pants. And it's in all action sports. There's pants talk. There's a Fit Check account for skateboarding, I think, where they like have screen caps of pants from videos and things and say what the pants are. We are not planning on making pants, but there was a Japanese skateboarding company that made a pant called the Straight Outta Bed pant. They came the closest to, I haven't tried them, but they looked like if we ever made them, they nailed it. They made the ultimate pant. And on that note, I wish rollerblading talked more about that they were inspired by skateboarding, or just talked openly about things that they see in skateboarding. Anyways,
Specifically skateboarding?
well, yeah, I think there's still a lot of inspiration taken from skateboarding, but it's more in secret. Like, that's a whole other topic. We'll talk about that when I'm on in 10 or 15 years, if
Okay.
it's still a problem.
Okay, we'll get that going. I was going to say if Billy saw any questions on here, but okay, so let's do this from Mike Torres because it's the first one that popped up. He says, they asked me this question, so I'm curious to hear your answer. Who would be on your Ultimate Wizard video lineup?
Leon, Mike, me, Todd, Colin, Stuart,
We need last names here.
Sean. Oh, Leon Basson, Mike Torres, me, Todd McInerney, Colin Brady, Stuart Brady, Nicola Torelli, Sean Unwin, and I don't know his name, Jay Kabath on Instagram. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do not.
Yeah.
He just posted. Yeah, he just
He's on
posted
them?
another wizard. Yeah. He just posted an amazing wizard clip, and he was skating thems with the Wizards very well. He didn't make them look sloppy. He actually made them look really good. And I hope I'm not missing anybody. That's just off the top of my head.
That's a good lineup for Wiz Fear Gone, as Mike has dubbed it. Billy, I know you keep going in and out. Did you have any questions in here?
I got some questions, but hopefully it stays open on me.
Okay.
We'll try just a few. And Joey, I'm really sorry that this is happening on
No
mine,
problem.
But thankfully you're a very patient person. Rib5 says, I like that mushroom blading hasn't tried to overly commercialize. For example, affiliate links, ads, sponsorships, etc., like they do on Jump Street. Do you have any comments on that?
No, I don't. I think it just comes down to the fact that Todd and I don't. We just don't. I don't know. We don't think about that stuff. But I love that people do that stuff. No, we just will be a couple guys in Canada making videos, and that's about it. No, I don't know what to say to that.
Falcon Gott says, top 3 memorable Canadian blading moments you can remember.
Well, that ASA that was here, definitely. Seeing Billy Vo skate in person, and then probably the Eisler cues, like after the competition circuit was no more and it wasn't a thing in rollerblading, the people who we met at these Canadian aggressive competitions, we all met like at Richie Eisler's place. We did a couple years, and it really helped reinforce the friendships in skating. Without the competition, we would film for videos, and yeah, a really key part for a small group of Canadian rollerbladers. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Bradley Brennison says, I want to know what Joey thinks about a grocery store romance novel that gets old ladies into blading.
Damn. Shit. That's a really good question. I have a movie idea that no, I'm not gonna comment on that. I have a movie, like if I ever make a movie, here's the pitch. So it's Edward Scissorhands, but instead of scissors on his hands, he's not goth, but he has wheels attached to his feet. And it's in Canada, and it kind of feels like the first Star Wars, but I guess if I would have to spin it as a romance novel, possibly like some mysterious man that has wheels attached to his feet. And then it would have the Fabio cover, probably. Or no, it probably wouldn't be Fabio these days. It'd probably be more, you'd have to do like a 50 Shades of Grey influenced cover for the grocery store to get older ladies. There it is.
Who would you cast as that person?
In the movie?
Yeah.
Well, I think
You sound like you have
Todd
pretty
said
planned
he
out
would,
already.
Todd said if I make a movie, he wants to be in it. So I have to at least give him the audition first. But
Not Johnny Depp?
he's burned a lot of bridges, and like he's really attached to Pirates of the Caribbean. And I don't want anybody who's an unknown is good. Yeah.
Okay. Good. That was a good answer to that question. You handled that really well. We have a super chat from John Schmidt. No question, just straight super chat. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, John Schmidt.
We have any more questions,
John?
We are kind of getting. I guess we'll do this as the last question. This one seems fair. David Moynihan says, "Would you skate in Jinkos?"
No, because Air Dolphin already did it so well. Like he made the masterpiece of the video in Jinkos. So, no, I don't want to cramp anybody's style, especially Air Dolphins. I've had that Linkin Park song in my head for the last 48 hours that he used for that one video.
Is there a pant out that you haven't tried yet that you would like to try? Austin Paz asked that question, by the way.
No, but I will say I skated really good in sweatpants in NBA. So Don't feel bad wearing sweatpants skating. They feel incredible. Like, like I recommend it. Yeah, I've tried many different kinds of pants, but seriously, sweatpants. It might feel weird, but for some reason, I just feel a little bit more stylish and confident in sweatpants. I don't skate with them all the time, but
Does your skate setup, vary on what pants you wear? Like, do you have pants specifically for wizards, like 5 wheels? Do you have pants specifically for 4 wheels? Pants specifically for anti? Specifically
I wouldn't
for flat?
I definitely wouldn't wear. I tried wearing jeans with wizards, and it just didn't work out. And Dickies with wizards, it just doesn't. I don't know. Dickies and jeans and wizards. Wizards has to be a little bit baggier.
You need to be loose.
But I'm gonna try and step outside of my comfort zone with that. Yeah,
Mixing the pants.
yeah.
That-
Jeans and wizards.
That should be part of your people ask you, like, what setup you have? What are you riding? Be like, oh, the wheels, these frames, these liners, and these pants. Like, that should just be a standard for that question.
Part of it. It's part of the setup.
It is. And then who knows, 10 years from now, oh, we lost me. My battery died on my thing. No, but I'm saying, like, 10 years from now, we'll evolve and we'll go past the waist, and soon your shirt will have to be part of your setup as well. We're falling apart over here. Sorry, Joey. I'll be back.
No problem.
There you go. Luckily, I keep a spare.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. But we get on the questions, Billy?
Yeah, I think that's it for. Oh, look, this is actually a pretty. Yeah, we got this one last, and I guess we could ask this one.
Let's do it.
Max Ferber says, "Has Joey ever tried bombing hills in Vancouver with a shopping cart?" I feel like that's the thing that might have happened. I don't know. Am I?
No, but people keep recommending this Carts of Darkness documentary to me. So they're referencing a documentary that people keep telling me to watch. Yeah. And I think the guy that made that was from Kamloops. So there's a connection there.
What was it about? What
Carts of Darkness. I think it was about homeless people who raced shopping carts down really steep hills. It's called Carts of Darkness. Look it up.
That sounds very interesting.
No, I haven't done that, and I've definitely aged out of doing things like that.
Shopping carts are dangerous.
Yeah, maybe even more so than skating.
Maybe even more so than skating. Yeah, I was about to say.
I think so.
Skating wizard backwards with no helmet on. Shopping carts are probably more dangerous.
Well, I've seen people hit their head even harder, like videos of drunk people pushing their friend in a shopping cart, and then it hits a weird way. Mm-hmm. There might be more concussions from drunk shopping cart pushing than skating, possibly. Yeah,
I would fully agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Shoot, Mike Torres has a question that I think we should ask.
Okay.
Mike Torres says, "I noticed some great themes in NBA. Can you elaborate on some of the themes / commentary within the video?" Excuse me.
Yeah, like the human side of skating is really interesting, especially as you get older, that you struggle with like why you do it, or if you take it too seriously, or if you've wasted a lot of time doing it. So the tricks are important, but also the human being behind doing the tricks. I find in a lot of action sports videos and skate videos, it's focused on making people look as cool as possible. And especially as I get older, well, I know that I'm not cool. I fall on my skates. It's a bizarre thing to be a 39-year-old rollerblader from Canada, obsessed making these videos. So a lot of the themes is just questioning that or exploring that, or and then also just the mental health part of having to work at home, the pandemic, forest fires, doom scrolling on Twitter. None of that's in there, but skating being an important outlet during all that crap. There's nothing direct in there about it, but like no matter how much the world changes or you get old, skating stays the same, and it's always accessible. That joy is accessible. So that's in there. And I think making yourself look dorky and a human that makes mistakes mixed with some of those, I don't know, more serious themes about questioning why you do something, or I hope that answered the question.
Who edits the motion blading videos?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
But it's a collaboration. Like it's a pretty, yeah. I'll do the technical editing, but we're in agreement on every cut. Yeah.
Cool.
We've gotten a bunch more questions, and so I think we should take those, being that we have 158 people still watching. Are you okay? I hope I don't get cut off right now. Are you good still answering a few more questions?
Yeah, if people are still watching, sure.
Cool. So let's see. Mike McFly says, for Joey, what would you consider the biggest / craziest trick hammer you have ever landed?
I don't really have any. Todd does. I guess I 180'd off a roof that was like, I've jumped off some roofs that were pretty high. I've done some kinked rails. I don't know. I just have never been that person.
What's your
I'd have to
favorite
look
trick
back
then?
on it.
What about a favorite trick?
What? Favorite trick that I've ever landed?
Yeah.
Like,
Doesn't necessarily
of
have to be
any
crazy, just favorite.
I really, really liked in a recent one in NBA. The same day I got the head hit. I did a frontside wheel slide to switch backside wheel slide to like a toe stall poke out thing. It's probably one of my favorites, just because it was flat ground.
Yeah, that one was sick. And and you spun around on the toe stall, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a fake out, like it was a revert. Like I landed forward, but my body twisted completely fakey for a sec. Yeah, that was one of those days where I had it in my head and it felt impossible, and then I just got it. So
Sick.
I have a question for you. How important, if any, is the sound of your wizard skating to the video? Because
very important.
yes, you put out an edit. I think when you had the undercover wheels edit, it was all a cappella, if I'm correct in saying that. And I put out like a little edited remix video with like the Wu-Tang swords and stuff like that and the Kung Fu fighting, and all the wizard whooshing sounds went perfectly with that. So I was curious since you're the editor of mushroom blading videos, at what point, like how important is that sound to the skate videos themselves?
Sound is even more important than the visuals to me. And wizards sound
More
incredible.
important?
70-30 for me. Well, okay, the skater needs to be in the frame. Like, okay, you need to be able to see what's happening. But like, it can be a really nicely filmed trick and on a bad microphone, like just some of those
DSLRs. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
It's like ear bleedingly low quality MP3
Tin
audio
can,
that it really takes away from it. And a lot of the older videos had like, since it was going onto tapes, like I like a really good warm sound. And like the mic that we use, the stereo mic, I spent more money on the mic than the camera recently. I think we're gonna go 4K. No, it's like a Rode stereo. It's like a big ball.
Oh,
and
that one.
Our videos sound incredible from it. So sound's really important. And I do light sound editing. I do a little bit of audio editing, especially for wizard stuff. Yeah. And I also love edits in videos without music, because you're not forcing the viewer to feel a specific emotion with the song that you chose. I love doing both though.
You ever consider putting like a lav mic on a skate if you're filming like long wizard stuff to get that audio? Anything like that?
I haven't tried that with fisheye. It's close enough.
Yeah, that's what
but I did love in like the old TV broadcast that they had mics on the coping. Like I can still hear that sound in my head.
Yeah.
Like we underestimate some of the production that went into those ASA shows in terms of the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's why I was thinking of exactly the same thing, like the metal grind plates on coping and vert when you would watch it on TV. That's what I was thinking of for you guys. Like, since you're not grinding really, for the most part, you're not grinding. It like if you like tape the lav mic underneath the sole plate or something like that, and like get the whooshing sound like super crisp, and that would be cool. film some long
Yeah.
shots, because I know you do some once in a while some long shots with that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad I thought to ask that question, because that's something that was on my mind for a while about the sounds. I love the sounds. It's part of the it's half the reason why I think those clips look so cool is because they sound awesome.
Wizards sound incredible.
Hopefully my wizard skating can sound that good one day.
It will.
You said something about 4K too, by the way.
Yeah, we want to make a 4K video. I want to make the next video 4K. So
Yes.
I've been filming,
What camera?
apart from Zone and a couple of the other ones, the same camera since Mushroom Blading 1. So 14 years on the same camera.
So what camera are you trying to do the 4K stuff in? I'm curious what your setup is.
I want to get a C200. So I have a C100, but I want to get a
C200.
C200 is what I use at work, and I really like it. We filmed that undercover one in a C200. So, but I want to film like an all locked off tripod Zone style, very cinematic 4K for the next video. Yeah, for MB9.
I'm happy to hear that. I don't have much say it's for it, because I don't really make skate videos or anything like that, but I love seeing Don West's stuff, like crisp 4K skating, like filmed really well, and it's a nice breath of fresh air from all the HVX footage that we have out now. In like you said, since Mushroom Blading 1. Is that the same camera as an HVX?
It's a Canon XHA1, so it's what Dom West shot Vine Street 1 on.
Okay, so everything is 1, so that's how old everything is. That's how old the camera is.
XHA1.
Oh no, how come we get it?
Oh no.
Let's just do this. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, I want to eventually save up Patreon money to buy some more stuff, but if companies would stop releasing skates that I want to try.
Maybe Q3 2022, you'll be able to take a break from all the new skates.
Yeah, 2023, we're going to do MB9, so I have some time to try all these skates for Patreon.
Are you taking a year off?
We're just going to do this edit series for a while, and yeah, it's always good to make the next video completely different than the last in some way. So yeah, it's good to just do like an edit series to kind of explore and then wait for the direction to come up. So yeah. Plus cool. 2-year projects are mentally tricky.
Mentally tricky in what way? What do you mean?
Well, because you're sitting on footage for 2 years. So you start to go crazy after that first winter. Like you want to get it out. So some stuff starts to feel really old.
Do you skate much in the winter? Like,
yeah.
Do you have what do you skate, like garages or?
We have that dirty parkade, and then there's one covered Christian school in the North Shore that you can only skate on weekends. So no parks or anything.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah, but that's what that's part of what created whatever we do. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely adds character to who you are as Canadians and what you do.
Yeah.
I think we're good on questions. I would feel like we would regret if we didn't at least talk once about the mushroom blading wheels that you guys just put out. And what was like motivation behind that, inspiration? They're all sold out already, if I'm not mistaken.
Sold out direct, and then the shop partners that helped us launch will be getting them in January.
Okay, so people can still buy them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So
get them quick.
What was your? Yeah, they sold out super quick on your website. What was your meaning behind making a wheel company?
So we did collabs with Undercover. Those were great, but we skate every single size. So I think it was kind of limiting to do a collab when it was always just the one size that we could make. And there was a time around for Patreon or just when I was trying anti-rocker where I tried all of the wheels anti-rocker, all of the wheel brands. And it was the Stefan 50/50. They were like 60/90 wheels that I used that I was really impressed with. And then where those were from the factory, they had like a really good range of sizes. And I was skeptical to try the big wheels, the 90s and 100s, but I ended up getting the black core wheels with the white urethane that I use in MB8. I got a bunch of my favorite skating in those. Those were the same factory. And then undercover was limiting. Then we were thinking of partnering with some other people. That didn't work. And then it was Lawrence was the one I think who saw the potential of it and was like really wanted to help us out to distribute it. And then he had the connections to the factory. I had tried all the wheels, but it was the Stefan wheels, the 6090. I was super impressed with the quality out of all the anti-rocker wheels I tried. And that kind of clicked where it was like, this is a really good quality product at a lower price. And that's the other thing is undercover, the factory times were really long. The wheel prices went up. So the turnover time using this factory was going to be really good. And then obviously, it felt like kind of time, like from Better Than Baseball, the mushroom blading was like a clear break in our skating history. And then MB8 to this point with the wheel company is like a new part of the story or our trajectory. So it was cool to finally start something where we make a physical product that wasn't a t-shirt. And because we use all the wheel sizes, it's going to be, it always felt weird to be skating so many different kinds of wheels that weren't ours. So having a full line is the goal, where no matter what setup we use, there'll be mushroom blading wheels. There'll always be the green color in honor of Face. Yeah, Todd's art is incredible. I don't know. It just felt like the time to start something. And the product's really good. And it's scary to start something, but it seems like the right time. And I'm happy it's a wheel company and not a boot company, because there's a lot of boot companies. I'm excited to try all the boots as a fan and a customer, not a person who makes boots.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys made all the wheels like that, considering they're all different sizes, and there's not many wheel companies doing that too. So you could buy mushroom blading, anti-rocker wheels, little flat rocker wheels, wizard wheels, whatever it is, they get it from you. So they'll still be available in shops soon, you said?
Yeah, early January, where we did a reorder of the 58s and the 60s, and then we're hoping to do a new size kind of in the new year. We'll have one more size. The plan is to have around 10 or 11 sizes.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. A size for every style that we skate. And then, the edits and videos and things, just starting a new era with the wheels and the edits and the videos that maybe feels different than the other stuff. And they're going to look really good on a lot of the skates coming out. Gotta say.
Good looking wheels.
Mesmers, thems, like Todd's art with that graphic on the bottom of the sole is going to pair very well.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Nice.
Yeah. They're going to look good on the Ritters. So I'll be putting the wheels on all the different skates, taking pictures, writing them on.
Lots of Patreon videos coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to give mad props for the graphic sole idea, in terms of like, that's something that K2 always did, like having a base that's iconic in photos. And I'm surprised nobody else had done it up to that point. So.
Oh, did K2 do it?
Well, they didn't do it, but they had like the Teflon soles. Like you always knew they were K2s.
I think it was a grid
because the chiclets, like the white. Yeah.
Yes.
That,
those are cool.
Yeah. So you knew when you looked at a photo that it was a K2 skate. So that's cool about the Mesmers, that if you can't see the skate, but you see the base of it, you know it's a Mesmer. So good job on that one. That's like one of those simple little details that seemed obvious, and you guys took it in a cool direction. Yeah,
that was more Bellino's idea.
Oh,
really good.
You can answer that question. We'll put you in here.
That was Bellino's idea.
Oh, very interesting.
And then he would have said more.
Very interesting. But so we're going to end it off. There's one more super chat just came in. So we're going to do this one last super chat, and then we're going to end it there. It's from Jeff Orta, who says, are some of the tricks you guys put out intentionally over the top ridiculous in order to shift what is acceptable in rollerblading?
Some were, there were some like previously, yeah, but Now I think just everything's off the table. And I don't know. Our style's cleaned up a lot more since when we were doing it before. So I would say yes. But I would say we threw a lot at the wall over the years and some stuff didn't stick. And then there's like kind of becoming clear what sticks and what doesn't. But at the same time, there's technically no rules, but there are just some things that aesthetically look good and some don't. That just comes down to your personal preference. Mm-hmm. Yes is the answer maybe to that one.
Sort of, kind of.
Sort of. Depends on the day.
All right. Well, we keep losing Billy, so hopefully he's here before we sign off. But again, Joey, thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome. Is there anything you want to say to people before you leave us?
Yeah, don't get too excited about anything or upset about anything as the years go on. Stay kind of in the middle if you can. And I know there's going to be a lot of noise incoming with brands and companies, and I think it's a really important time on how everybody works together. Or I know there's just going to be a lot of competing for attention, and I think if everybody can be fans of multiple companies or work together or lift each other up, that's going to be really important. So that's
agree.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that one.
Well said. But so Billy, those were his last statements right there. Is there anything else to do with?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to speak. It's been a really weird episode on this end. I keep getting kicked off over and over again, but
we'll figure it out.
I got to listen to this episode when it's done because I really want to hear a lot of what Joey had to say. So
you were here for most of it.
Yeah, I caught some really good parts that I found to be really fascinating. But Joey, I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm sorry that there were some technical difficulties during it, but really appreciate everything that you do for skating and continue to do, and that I know you're going to do forever. Mushroom Blading 80, is going to be around. And I guess Austin asked you to say your last words, but anything else, any words of wisdom, final parting things before shout outs, even though you did shout outs in the beginning, shout outs at the end that you may have.
I have no extra shout outs. In the spirit of Lawrence and VG7, I'll just say, or VG17, the California industry issue. Hopefully I'm getting that right. He said, much love. So I'll just say much love. And also, best of luck with Mesmer. I'll be trying the skates in the new year. Oh, he's gone.
I'll pass the message on to him.
That I love that that skaters are starting things and taking risks. It's really exciting. It's a good time for that.
It is really exciting.
So that's my last words.
I agree with you on that. Hang on. We'll pop him in for one last one. But Joey, again, thanks for coming on.
That was a perfect time to be shut off again. Thank you, Joey.
Okay, we're going to end this in the correct order right here. So we're all lined up. We're all in our respective spots. Joey, thank you so much for coming on. Thank everybody for watching. Thank you for all the super chats. We really appreciate it. Big shout out to our sponsor, Blank. Check out the new Sean Keen skate. Check out NBA. Check out Mushroom Blading. Be sure to get those new wheels when they come out. Everything is linked in the description below this video, so definitely check it out. And yeah, thanks again, everybody. We'll see you all in the next episode.
Blake, God bless.
Peace.